All right, namaste. A very pleasant morning to each one of you present over here. Myself, Swati Chandra, and would like to extend a warm welcome to each one of you present over here, and would also like to thank you all for taking up time from your busy schedule and being a part of such wonderful event today. On behalf of the Economic Times, I extend a warm welcome to everyone. We are delighted to have you here at the ET Make in India SME Regional Summit, Lucknow edition. This is the first time ET is hosting the ET Make in India SME Regional Summit in Lucknow with an aim to delve into the dynamic world of Uttar Pradesh, thriving MSME ecosystem and highlight its significance in shaping India's economic landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, the initiative further aimed to empower future-ready MSMEs to drive India's vision of becoming a global powerhouse in line with the Viksit Bharat theme of Government of India. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to let you all know that Uttar Pradesh, with its 9 million MSMEs, has become a thriving hub of innovation and entrepreneurship. The state government has taken numerous steps to support MSME growth, including initiatives for finance access, infrastructure development, skill building programs, and ease of doing business. No wonder then that UP ranks second on the ease of doing business ranking under the Business Reform Action Plan of DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. The Lucknow edition of the ET Make in India Regional Summit is a celebration of the achievements of their businesses. We hope it's a chance for everyone to share knowledge, make connections, and get ready to compete globally. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lucknow edition of ET Make in India MSME Regional Summit is brought to you by the Economic Times in partnership with Adobe as associate partner. As we move further, ladies and gentlemen, before we move further, I would like to request you all to have a big round of applause for yourself. Thank you so much. As we move further, once again, a very warm welcome to our esteemed speaker and our audience. As we start with our welcome message, please put your hands together for our Assistant News Editor, Economic Times. Can we have a big round of applause for Neha Diwan? I would like to request you to please join us on stage.
Thank you, Swati. Mr. Alok Kumar, IAS, Principal Secretary, MSME and Export Promotion, Uttar Pradesh. Pranjal Yadav, IAS, Secretary, MSME and Export Promotion, Uttar Pradesh. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to the ET Make in India SME Regional Summit's second event in Lucknow, which is also popularly called the City of Nawabs and has tradition and culture engulfed at its very core. In fact, I have an interesting story to share with all of you. The path to the Lucknow Summit actually came via one of our MSME events in Aurangabad, when one of the panelists spoke of the strength of a small town like Bhadohi, which is a global carpet powerhouse. Bhadohi's carpet industry is 100% export-oriented and contributes around rupees 7,000 crore to India's annual carpet exports of rupees 12,000 crore. The extensive volume of carpets available for exports attracts some of the world's largest buyers. It represents the uniqueness of Indian MSMEs and the heights they can achieve once they all get together with their collective talent, grit, and enterprise to create a winning story. And such stories can hardly go unnoticed. MSMEs inspire each other and become a model example to follow. The success of Uttar Pradesh is trade in its various cities, be it Moradabad's brass industry, Firozabad's glassware, Meerut's sports goods, or Kanpur's leather products, can be felt far and wide. At Economic Times, our endeavor is to make more of such stories seen and heard. With this summit, which comprises a series of on-ground events across India, we seek to unlock opportunities, tackle challenges, and foster knowledge sharing and networking among the stakeholders. MSMEs employ 40% of India's workforce, contributing 45% of the output and 40% of the exports. Their contribution serves as an important constituent of economic growth for the nation. Uttar Pradesh assumes importance in the MSME economy as it is among the top 3 states in India with a significant contribution to the Indian MSME sector at 9%, according to a report from CBRE South Asia. In fact, the summit's theme, Empowering MSMEs, Driving India's Century of Sustainable Growth, is an effort to highlight their role in making India a $5 trillion economy. It seeks to deliberate on what can be done to catapult MSMEs into the next wave of growth. If we specifically talk about Lucknow, the city is known for its diverse range of MSMEs that contribute effectively to industries such as handicrafts, textiles, toys, leather, chemicals, and IT. It is home to numerous small and large businesses dealing with exports of such varied categories. It is not just the labor-intensive sector that the state is engaged in. In fact, Uttar Pradesh has emerged as the hub of IT and ITES sector, including software and captive business process outsourcing. Noida is among the leading IT clusters in the country. In fact, my earlier visit to Lucknow as part of a reporting assignment some years back surprised me. While it was admittedly the cuisine that I was more looking forward to during my visit, the fine art of chicken curry that Lucknow is so synonymous with left me feeling enchanted. In my interactions with exporters, I found the tenets of entrepreneurial spirit and zeal alive. I saw the pride that artisans felt in being associated with the craft of chicken curry, the wages they earned, and the passion with which they came to work every day. It was inspiring, to say the least. However, issues related to shortage of skilled manpower, struggles in production processes, and a lack of technical know-how had plagued the industry even at that point. Similar challenges, ironically, also exist today and act as a roadblock in making the state achieve its real mettle. Besides this, MSMEs in the state face challenges in getting access to finance from state finance, corporation, and banks, in addition to land availability posing a major challenge as well. Removing such hurdles is imperative to help them move up the ranks and enable ease of doing business for a sector often referred to as the backbone of the economy. What is also needed is to embrace newer practices that can help MSMEs be agile and in sync with the changes of the present environment. Adopting sustainable practices will not just be a suitable long-term investment, it will also imply profitability for these enterprises, which can help ease their financial burdens for the future. It may look like a difficult investment now, but it will be one that will pay rich dividends in the future. India's 63 million MSMEs have a plethora of opportunities that await them. They have to seize the opportunity and make this their moment. Each one of them is different and each unique. I once again extend a warm welcome to you all. I look forward to meeting you on the sidelines of the event and discussing your challenges and exploring opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Can we have a big round of applause for Neha Diwan? Ladies and gentlemen, as we move further, now is the time I would like to invite on stage our keynote speaker. But before that, I would like to let you all know about him. Ladies and gentlemen, Shri Alok Kumar ji is currently working with the government of UP as the Principal Secretary MSME. He has a master degree in public policy with a specialization in health from Princeton University, in addition to a BTech in electrical engineering from IIT Delhi. He has over 30 years of experience of working in the health sector space, right from district. provincial and the federal government, including working in the offices of Chief Minister as well as Niti Aayog, the premier think tank of Government of India chaired by the Prime Minister. He has also worked as a faculty member of Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, the apex training institution for senior civil servants. He is a thought leader in shaping the policies relating to the design of the health system in India and bring a unique combination of experience, policy making and execution, as well as academic perspective on health sector in his country. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further delay, please put your hands together for none other than IS Principal Secretary, MSME and Export Promotion, Shri Alok Kumar sir. एक जोरदार तालियों के साथ उनका स्वागत और अभिनंदन करना चाहूँगी. Who will develop the keynote address on the theme of MSMEs, the growth of engine of Uttar Pradesh economy. आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत और अभिनंदन है sir. Let's have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Distinguished guests at this Make in India SME Regional Summit organized by Economic Times. Many of you are captains of the industry, people from Economic Times, Neha ji, Arpit ji, and the entire team. Thank you for having me here. I have assumed charge of this particular sector only 1.5 months back. So whatever I say, please take with bagfuls of salt. But sometimes a fresh perspective and outsider's perspective may bring in many things which generally people working in that sector don't tend to notice. So I hope I would like to ignite some of the thoughts and suggestions before you. I don't necessarily have answers to many of these questions, but what I will just present what I found striking when I started looking at this particular sector in some degree of depth, as the MC was kind enough to point out that my large amount of work has largely been in the health sector, which I have some, I can say some degree of familiarity and knowledge of. In terms of my industry's experience, it is not that I am completely a novice in this sector. I think in one of my earlier avatars between 2002 and 2006, I was the managing director of the State Industrial Development Corporation of Uttaranchal at that point in time, now Uttarakhand state. And the 3 townships that you see at Haridwar, the Pantnagar and Udham Singh Nagar were brought up from greenfield stage during my helmsmanship of the State Industrial Development Corporation. And I was just doing a study last, I think from December, January, February. And I compared 2 states, Himachal and Uttarakhand, both of which received the benefit of the concessional industrial package. Most of you would be aware in 2003, Government of India had announced that anybody who is setting up industries in these hill states will get a 100% excise exemption for 10 years and then 100% income tax exemption for first 5 years and then 30% for the next 5 years. The approach, the policy was the same, fiscal policy, concession policy was the same. The approach taken by the 2 states were somewhat different. What Himachal did was that they said that I don't want to get into the problem of purchasing land and then allotting it to the industries. Industries take the land and we will provide you easy land use conversions and we will facilitate you. Uttarakhand took a different approach and they said that, look, we need to provide the industries the infrastructure, so we planned 3 integrated industrial townships, which was almost like 8,000 acres developed over a period of 2 years. And I remember we had constructed almost 300 lane kilometers of roads in 10 months. we did the drainage, we did the sewerage, we did the effluent treatment plants, and then we started allotting. So the industry was only required to do their own constructions and operations and management. All the infrastructural constraints of the industry were taken care of. And I was just looking at the data. 3 data points I would like to just provide you to just give a sense of what is the role of state in the growth of industry. Today, in 2001, Uttarakhand collected half of revenue of as what Himachal collected. Today, as we speak of today, as in March 24, April 2024, GST collection in Uttarakhand is today twice that of Himachal Pradesh. So from half in 20 years, you became double. So that is insofar as the tax collection which is benefiting the state. Now I come to the industry. The industrial growth rate in Uttarakhand was about 18%, Himachal managed about 9%. 18% growth rate means you are doubling every 4 years. The number of workers that found employment in Uttarakhand was 3 lakh as compared to about 1,60,000 in Himachal Pradesh. So the entire industrial effort not only benefited the industries because they obviously gained, it also benefited the economy because the GDP etc. rose up, workers found employment, and it also benefited the state because the state eventually today, so the total amount of money, if I recall, in 2004-5 money terms, we had spent about 500 to 600 crores in setting up that infrastructure, about 200 crore rupees per estate. And today we are collecting on an average per month, we are collecting 1200 crores more in revenue per month. So if you look at in a per year basis, we are collecting about 14,400 crores extra. If you look at, if you, you do an annuity of that, that means about 1,44,000 crores. So with a 500 crore investment, you are getting a revenue of almost 1,44,000 crores. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I want to point out, is the joint effort of the industry and the government can lead to. The per capita income of Uttarakhand was about 40% lower than Himachal Pradesh in 2001. Today, it's slightly higher than Himachal Pradesh, not by much, but slightly higher than Himachal Pradesh. So what I mean to say is that in a short period of 5 to 10 years, you can transform the economy of a state if these two pillars, both industry and government, come together and both contribute their might, because each one of this is insufficient, both need to contribute. So with that introduction, let me just come to the Uttar Pradesh scenario at this point in time. Briefly I have structured the presentation. One, I give you the broad overview of the state where we are trying to go. Secondly, we take a kind of a dipstick view of where the MSME industry stands in UP today, what are its strengths, and also, if you permit me, what are its weaknesses. And then we'll try to kind of just give a sense. It's very difficult for me to kind of go into depth of each and every policy aspect, but I will just give you a kind of glimpse of where we are trying to go, and the details, if you want, we can always have a more detailed conversation, but I thought since I was given 20 minutes, I would tend to avoid the details, but I will capture the broad points so that once the broad point sticks in your mind, then we can, kind of delve into the details of each and every one. So we have characterized our Pradesh as Sarvottam Pradesh. Well, we are not there as yet, but I think given what we have seen over the last 5 to 10 years, I think we are very much on the way. Next slide. We have this slide. Okay. So this is a brief sense of the state. We have a GDP of about 25.47 lakh crore rupees, which is about $335 billion. And this is on the official exchange rate, not on the PPP terms. In PPP terms, probably it will be higher. and we are aiming to be a $1 trillion economy by about 2027. So in the next 4 years, the pace that is required to reach there will be really very strong. We have about a 5% share in India's export, which considering our size is on the lower side. We have a very young population. We have about 56% of our population, which is in the 18 to 60 age year group. We have a very large consumer base. We have about 240 million people, almost 17% of the India's population. And what we have seen, the government is really looking and focusing at increasing the infrastructure. And that is why you see the capital outlay has grown by about 4 times in the last 4 to 5 years. If you look at the number of international, we have now 5 international airports, 16 domestic airports. We rank the number 1 in the length of the expressways, largest network of roads. I don't want to go. Largely, the focus of the state government is to create the enabling atmosphere by creating the infrastructure, which will let all other sectors then flourish. And if you see the growth rate over the last 5 years, despite COVID, we have clocked about 8% growth per annum. Now, the all India average India growth rate is 7%, world growth rate is 5%. So we are growing strongly, but if we want to transform ourselves, this growth rate will not suffice. I would just go back to the Uttarakhand example. In the first decade, 2000 to 2010, Uttarakhand economy grew by about 10%, 11% CAGR, and the industrial growth rate was about 18% CAGR. So that is the kind of growth that would really lead to the transformation. So 8% is good, but we need some distance to travel. Now we come to the MSME. So UP has the largest number of MSMEs across any state in the country. 90 lakh units are registered in Uttarakhand. The gross value addition is only 40,000 crores. Now this is so we have a very large number of units, but their net contribution in the GDP is small. And the large part why this contribution is small is because the GDP, the way it is designed, it doesn't capture those who don't register themselves in the survey of industries as factories and so on and so forth. So mom and pop or household industries are not really captured. They are captured in some organized sectors, but in the industrial output that is not captured. We have now started making, so one of the weaknesses that I noticed of the industry here is that because for traditional reasons we have been doing this household industry, Muradabad, every household is doing something on brass, Bhadohi, a large number of people are doing something on the carpet, Saharanpur, large number of people are doing something on wood carvings, wooden furniture, Agra and Kanpur, we'll see a large number of units looking at leather, Firozabad, we have a large number of units doing bangles, but the net value addition on an average per unit is only 3.5 crores. We have about, employment is about 1.65 crores, so it will be a very large employer. But the net value addition, net value capture that we are able to do with this large number of industries is relatively low. Also, you see, if you look at the export scenario, about 46% of the UP's exports are coming from the MSME sector. So this is a very substantial, and if you look at all the other states put together, we have, except Rajasthan, we are almost equal to. So our MSMEs are doing really well, so they are externally focused. But the value addition, value capture is pretty small. So I think that is some dichotomy there, that we have a very large number of units. They are export oriented, so they would be competitive, otherwise they would not be able to export. But why are we not able to capture a larger value? Is it because there is some constraint on increasing in volumes, or some constraint in managerial capacity, some constraint on access to capital? I think these are issues which need to be thought through. So the problems that one could identify, so as I said, we have strengths. Now we come to a little bit of areas of concern. So out of those 90 lakh units, only 11,329 are registered under the ASI, which means that 90 lakh units are producing output, only 11,329 are captured in my GDP figures. But that is the way GDP is defined, so you can't argue with it. All other states face the same issues. So if only 11,000 contribution is being calculated in the GDP, look at the kind of underestimation of our GDP that is happening because people refuse to register, people refuse to grow up, or people refuse to see this. If you look at the Udyam registrations, which is the starting point, factory registration is the ending point, I mean, at which point we really consider you to be big enough, only 11 per 1,000 population. Other states, Maharashtra has 34, TN is, so we are 1/3 of these states. Again, the gross value added, as you see, UP is not very badly off. We are almost at par with Gujarat. Maharashtra is slightly higher, 3.5 crores per annum. But this, to my mind, for one unit is a very small, and 3.5 we are talking in terms of gross value added. If you look at the large enterprises, so UP has 600 large enterprises, which has, on average, which add to the GDP to the tune of 124 crores. See the figure at the bottom. And then we have 90 lakh units, which on average add at 3.5 crores. And between this 124 crores and 3.5 crores, there is complete vacuum, which I would like to call it as a problem of the missing middle. So typically speaking, look at how a child grows. It is born small, then it becomes medium size, then it becomes large size, and then over a period of time, he grows old and so on and so forth. So somehow or the other, our industry, the growth is attested at, is arrested at the level of a childhood. तो 3 feet, 4 feet से आगे बढ़ ही नहीं रहे. या तो दे आर बॉर्न बिग 7 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet, मतलब जिसको हम लार्ज इंडस्ट्री कहते हैं, वो पैदा होते ही 7, 8 feet, 9 feet के हैं. और बाकी जो हैं वो आधे फीट से, 1 feet से, 2 feet से, 3 feet, पर 3 feet से ऊपर जाते ही नहीं. Because as I said, only 11,000 units out of the 90 lakh units have grown or graduated to a category where they would be counted as in the ASI frame, the Survey of Industries frame. Now this is something that, to my mind, there is something which is inhibiting the growth. So you grow from the small enterprises to a medium level, and then somehow something happens that you just don't graduate to the big league. And this really is a problem. I don't know whether there is not enough fire in the belly of our entrepreneurs that they don't want to grow big, or there is some problem at the level of the infrastructure or government support that prevents them from becoming big, or there is something that because after ASI, a lot of compliances come in, Factory Act, this Act, Labor Act, Falana Act, that is creating the problem. But unless you grow, the value addition will be very few, and the value addition is low, then the entrepreneur will not gain, the workers will not gain, and the state will not gain. So we need to find and create an environment where our small and medium enterprises, so in 2019 there was an economic survey brought out by Government of India which characterized these, and this is a very interesting characterization. They have been characterized as dwarfs. Dwarfs are those units which were born small and after 10 years of operation they still remain small. Those have been called dwarfs. So we suffer. Out of 90 lakh units which have been operational for a very long time, if only 11,329 has graduated to that level, there is something wrong in this whole piece. And I think if we want to grow rapidly, we need to address those constraints. And I think it is a joint responsibility both from the side of the government and also from the side of the industry to see and identify what are those constraints and try and address those constraints so that then we can move forward at a greater scale. And some of the key issues which we have thought is, in terms of skilled manpower. I think Neha was just mentioning about the chicken workers, that they are not able to grow because we don't find enough skilled manpower. Now, it is very strange. I went to Saharanpur wood cluster. And think about it. It's the center of wood industry. The ITI and Polytechnic are there. They train people on being fitters, welders, but they don't have a trade on wood crafts. Would you believe it? That Polytechnic is there for the last 50 years. The industry has been there for the last 50 years, but we still don't run that trade on the woodcraft industry, which is relevant to that industry in the district specified. I don't know about Agra whether leather trade is being taught in the Polytechnic. So what I am trying to say is that our education system is completely devoid, and sometimes I feel that my role as the MSME Principal Secretary is the role of that person who conducts the orchestra. I don't play a single instrument. So for instance, if you have land use conversion, you go to the housing department. If you have roads, you need to go to the PWD or to the Nagarpalika. If you have drains, you have to go to the irrigation department. If you have electricity, you have to go to the electricity department. If you have skills, you have to go to the skills department or Polytechnic or one of the education departments. But somehow I have to use that stick to make sure that all of the instruments are played in harmony, so that you hear somewhat of a good music rather than a cacophony of instruments playing from each other. And I have nothing under my control because all these will be headed by some different departments and the colleagues. But if we need to make a difference, the role of this conductor becomes very important. And I do realize it, but you also need to understand that all stakeholders would need to contribute so that this orchestra is more harmonious. And I've just put another slide. This is comparing the small, micro, medium, large, and this is making the same point, that you have a very large number of, small number of large industries, and you have a very large number of micro, small and medium industries who are not pulling their weight. And we need them to pull their weight much more than what they have been pulling in the past in order to ensure that this $1 trillion economy dream comes true. So now I come to the last slide of my presentation, which is essentially about the broad vision that I have been able to, in the 1.5 months that I have been able to understand, to appreciate, and to try and put across to you. One is the scheme which is called as the Rapid Acceleration of Medium Scale Industries. This is the RAMP scheme of the, it addresses the exact point that I was making. How do you rapidly accelerate the MSME performance? Because the performance has some strengths, but it has a weakness that it just refuses to grow. Now, whatever it takes to grow, and I don't know, it might be access to capital, it might be poor infrastructure, it might be access to skills, it might be access to markets, it might be technological obsolescence, improvement of technical process, it might be common facilities centers, it might be many things. I don't know what all it will take. And my goal here is to produce at least 500 star performers from UP, which 3 years down the line will come into those 11,000 units. Okay, so we want you to grow from your current level, which is 3.5, 4, 6, 8, 10, whatever you are at this point in time in terms of gross value added terms, to 500 crores, 600 crores, 1,000 crores, 2,000 crores. And the idea is that if one industry or two industries in a cluster break the glass ceiling, then others will also be inspired to follow suit. So that is one scheme that I think, and it is completely flexible scheme. It is a World Bank assisted scheme. Government of India is playing a lot of emphasis on this. And I would like any of you who are assembled, and through you, please inform other stakeholders, other industry people who would want to be part of this growth journey. We would like to work very closely with, say, 500 to 1,000 of you to try and see that whatever it takes for you to get to that level where we can classify you as an industry which is actually contributing to my manufacturing GDP. rather than being counted in some informal sector. Okay. The second point is access to market. And ODOP is one kind of branding which is a broad branding for 75 different product categories so that you can reach both the national market and also the international market. And as you would know, UP government has started from last year something called as a UP International Trade Show, the first edition of which was organized last year in Noida. We have now fixed the calendar. So like the Hamburg Fair, it will be every year between 25th and 29th September. And the idea is for all the manufacturers to come and showcase their products, and we would try to get international buyers and large domestic buyers from other states as well to ensure that you don't have a problem of access to the market. Now, whether you are able to ramp up your manufacturing capacities simultaneously, upgrade your manufacturing processes simultaneously, get the skilled workers simultaneously, that is a problem that you need to, so it will be so you can't take orders and then not deliver on them and earn, a bad name for your company as well as for the state. But the idea is to solve the problem of access of markets. Okay. And UP International Trade Show is one. We also sponsor people going and participating in fairs abroad or in fairs in other parts of the country. And this is primarily export focused, but it could also be other players in the market. The third point is, now in Saharanpur when I went, you'd be surprised to note that they had no problem with capital, they had no problem with skill, they had no problem. What they were saying is that we don't have scope for expansion. So I think the last industrial estate that was created was in Saharanpur was in 60s or 70s, and after that there has been no new addition. I think there is some 97 crores which UPSIDC has just acquired, and hopefully that should come in operation under that. But I mean, there are no industrial parks. And large part of the industries face a problem. This was another problem which they told me was that, if you have an industry, you set up an industry somewhere, maybe outside the city. But sooner or later, urbanization pressure, houses come around in an industry. Then you want to expand, then the environment people say that now because population is there, so therefore we will not give you permissions. You shift. So how many times will an industry shift? So how do you earmark industrial zones in these pockets where we have strength of industries so that they don't need to relocate every now and then? So we are now planning a big 1,000-acre textile park somewhere near Lucknow, about 30 kilometers from here in Rahman Kheda, if you are aware of the. So we are trying to develop a textile cluster here. We have now come up with a scheme called as a pledge park. So if an industry association or if an individual entrepreneur wants to develop an industrial estate in the private sector up till 50 acres in size, we give you significant concessions under the pledge scheme. So we have now 10 parks which have already been sanctioned, and if more parks need to be sanctioned, because I believe unless you create, and you please remember the Himachal Uttaranchal comparison, unless you create the industrial infrastructure, you will not get the kind of growth. You will get some growth, but you will not get the kind of accelerated growth that you are talking about. We, not in the MSME department, but you are aware that the government is setting up a huge industrial township near Jhansi in Bundelkhand. They have also identified patches of land along these expressways to develop as industrial corridors. We are developing a defense industrial corridor almost all the way from Agra right up till Chitrakoot. So the government is proactively creating industrial infrastructure, and my sense is eventually if we want to grow beyond a certain point, we'll need to locate ourselves in these parks. And I think there is a case for even higher participation of government and maybe more such in industrial infrastructure to be developed. The other point is digital marketing. And digital marketing is now something which people are aware of, but there are very many models which are working. We are not sure what is working. For instance, we tried almost 1,200 artisans on the ODOP platform to go to the Flipkart. Through the Flipkart, we are trying to reach markets. There were two problems. One problem was when their volumes came, they were not in a position to ramp up the volumes because, again, they are all working as single household units and there are no organized means of production. And the second was also that they didn't want to get into the GST and compliance burden and so on and so forth. So they wanted some aggregator in between to do this transaction because the online marketing companies will not come to you if you don't have a GSTN number and so on. So their model just don't permit it. And these people, they have some fear that they don't want to get into the compliance net. So how do we solve this problem is a big problem that we need to work out. The last point, the second last point that I want to make is, you see the MSME cluster or MSME environment is only as vibrant as the large industry. Because if you look at, so for instance, if you have a Tata Motors here, you will find a whole set of ancillaries in and around that because they will not manufacture anything. So they will get somebody to manufacture the steering wheel, they will get somebody to manufacturing the leather seats and so on and so forth, dashboards, many things, bumpers. So the vibrancy in the MSME ecosystem is also somewhat dependent. It's not a standalone sector. It is also dependent on the large industrial investments there. And that also is something which the government is targeting. As you said, you see there's a huge fillip on the electronic side. Electronic cluster is being developed. And now increasingly there is a realization, and that is why we are looking at promoting large scale, and you would be aware of the Global Investment Summit, the efforts of the government to try large players, because large players will come, then they will require many vendors, suppliers, and these can come very, very well in the MSME sector. And lastly, in reference to employment, the Chief Minister's dream is to give 1 million jobs to young people, and this is a scheme which has been sanctioned but has not been implemented because the model of code of conduct. And this is about Uttar Pradesh Yuva, as it is called. And the idea is to, so these are people who will start their entrepreneurial journey through this scheme. And that also has been announced and should be coming under implementation immediately after the elections cycles are over and the model code of conduct is over. So I think I have done. Thank you so much for a patient hearing. I hope I have been able to put some of the things of the government in perspective. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So I would like to request you to please be on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to request for the token of appreciation, Neha Diwan, Assistant News Editor, Economic Times, to please join us on stage. Let's have a big round of applause for Neha Diwan, ma'am. And would like to request you to please give the token of appreciation to Shri Alok Kumar, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. So would like to request you to please be on stage. As we move further, सर आपका हम बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहेंगे कि आपने अपना बेहद कीमती समय निकाला और इस कार्यक्रम में अपनी उपस्थिति दी. For thanking you, would like to request Assistant Editor ET Government, Mr. Arpit Gupta sir, to please join us on stage and thank you sir with a bouquet. Can we have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Kumar sir, for addressing the audience. Thank you also for providing valuable insight into the various policies, initiatives and schemes being rolled out of PAVE to the next wave of growth of MSMEs in Uttar Pradesh. Let's have a big round of applause once again for Shri Alok Kumar sir. Thank you so much sir for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move further, next up is a special address. Please put your hands together as I welcome on stage Ms. Anandi Agarwal, Chairperson, Women Entrepreneur Cell, Indian Industries Association, Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, to shed a light on the theme of UP MSMEs, Prospect and Challenges. Let's have a big round of applause for Ms. Anandi Agarwal. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Very good morning to everyone present here. Alok Kumar sir, Neha ji, Arpit ji, Gaurav sir, Rajat sir, and all the esteemed guests present here. Firstly, on behalf of Indian Industries Association, I would like to thank and I would like to express my gratitude to the Economic Times for organizing this program and bringing together all the industry people, the stakeholders, and the government officials to come together and discuss about the opportunities and the prospects and share knowledge and connections. As we are discussing about the industry MSME, MSMEs are crucial for economic development, providing employment, and also contributing to the state's GDP. We are discussing the UP MSMEs, and it is known widely for its diverse range of industries like which traditionally involve traditional crafts like handicrafts and handloom, as well as modern enterprises in manufacturing and services. The first thing, the active participation of youth and women is also very important for the growth and development of the MSMEs. Youth brings innovation, technical skills, and energy that is also very important for the modernization of this sector and also creates empowerment. Women entrepreneurs contribute to the economic empowerment, introduces diverse perspective, and foster community development. With this approach, we enable faster economic development that leads to sustainable growth. And UP's sustainable supportive policies for youth and women are very crucial and essential for the development of the MSME and overall growth of the sector. UP has taken a significant step in supporting ease of doing business. The state government is very, very active and provided active support by improving infrastructure, offering financial help, and also making it easier for us to access market. But somehow, due to the lack of awareness about the schemes from the central government for the MSME sectors, the other states of India are reaping major benefits that UP is missing out on. अब अगर market है, तो production तो हो जाएगा, but we need to work on to regulate the marketplaces. We also need to work on the Ganga region for the riverfront project so that we have a direct access to the market as well. Some of the smaller towns and the underdeveloped towns are the grey areas for the UP and the central government. We need to put efforts as they have limited road connectivity, and also electricity is the major concern for these industries. These industries basically have the raw material availability and they don't involve too much of technology with them. But there is a lot of potential in terms of land and labor. Developing skill set there and improving infrastructure will definitely create more job creations in this sector that will also stimulate the economic growth. With the Investor Summit in UP, it has significantly boosted the economy and it has provided a platform for the UP state to highlight its improved infrastructure, skilled workforce, and also the very active, very supportive government. Big industries के साथ यूपी में छोटी ancillaries और उनका development तो हो जाएगा. But the development of UP with tourism has increased and has definitely created very impactful implementation and provide a boost for the economy. अब अगर ज़्यादा हमारे पास consumers आएंगे, ज़्यादा tourism आएगा, तो consumption भी बढ़ेगा, and we need to be ready for that. World-class people will need world-class services, and for which we need world-class ecosystem and world-class mindset for us as industry enablers and also the government support system. There may be a long way to cover, but I'm happy as a women entrepreneur that we have already started walking onto the path to make our state a world-class. The journey is long and we need to speed up. As Sir very interestingly mentioned the few facts about the UP state and the position of the MSMEs. We really need to gear up ourselves as MSME industry enablers and owners. हमें ये जानने की ज़रूरत है कि क्या हम ready हैं इस technology को adapt करने के लिए. As MSME, already existing MSMEs are there, but they are hesitant in accepting the technology. और उस technology upgradation के लिए we need active support for the government as well as the mindset for ourselves कि हम उस technology को हम अपने आप से आगे और improve करके अपने आप को बढ़ा पाएं. The point that Sir mentioned here is the difference between the registered MSME in terms of GDP and the जो difference है हमारा 90 lakh का, उसको cover करने के लिए जो existing MSMEs हैं, उनकी hand holding is very important. With the pledge park schemes, अगर हम हमारे artisans को उस पे ला पाएं, so that because land availability is difficult in UP, in Lucknow basically, the areas which are developed, so they will grow with each other's collaborative support and efforts. In the last, I would like to mention just one thing, that we need to speed up and we need to be adaptive and more open towards the technology involvement and adaptation. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big round of applause for Ms. Anandi Agarwal, Madam. Thank you so much for being here. As we are moving further for the token of appreciation for being here, I would like to request the General Manager, Economic Times, Joydeep Ghosh sir, to please join us on stage and give the token of appreciation to Ms. Anandi Agarwal, Madam. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big round of applause all together. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move further, now I would like to welcome on stage to talk on the theme of making UP SMEs brands of global repute. Ladies and gentlemen, for that, I would like to invite on stage, but before that, I would like to let you all know about him. It is a great pleasure and honor that we welcome Shri Pranjal Yadav sir, a distinguished member of Indian Administrative Service and the present Secretary of Department of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises and Export Promotion. With his extensive experience, exemplary leadership and deep commitment of fostering entrepreneurship and economic growth, he is poised to bring about significant positive change in MSME sector. Let us extend our warmest welcome and wholeheartedly support his endeavor in driving the development and empowerment of small and medium enterprises, ensuring their vital contribution to our state's economy. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Shri Pranjal Yadav sir, IAS Secretary, MSME and Export Promotion, Government of Uttar Pradesh. आपका बहुत-बहुत स्वागत और अभिनंदन है sir. As I would like to invite on stage Assistant Editor, ET Government, Arpit Gupta sir, to please join us on stage. Would like to request our General Manager, Economic Times, Joydeep Ghosh sir, to please join us on stage and welcome Shri Pranjal Yadav sir with a bouquet. A very warm welcome to you, sir. आपका बहुत-बहुत स्वागत और अभिनंदन है. Thank you so much, Joydeep sir. As we move further, ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to welcome on stage Assistant Editor, Economic Times, Ms. Neha Diwan, Madam, to please join us on stage to moderate the session. Let's have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Swati, and welcome, Pranjal. Welcome to this fireside chat, and after hearing Mr. Kumar, I'm myself feeling very inspired and wanting to know more about the kind of initiatives that are being taken. So our topic today is making UP SMEs brands of global repute. And Mr. Kumar also spoke about how the aim is to create 500 star performers. That is the aim. And Uttar Pradesh, in fact, has demonstrated a propensity for high growth. And 56% of its population is engaged in work. So my question is that how can we leverage this demographic advantage that we have, and what steps are being taken to achieve such ambitions?
Good morning, everyone. I can see many of my friends, acquaintances here. Gaurav ji, Anshul, Puran Davar Saab, Anandi ji, and many others whom I can see here. First of all, I would like to thank Economic Times for organizing this SMEs program, a program on SMEs. Ma'am, as you mentioned, UP, our state, has this advantage of population. We have skilled manpower. We have so many institutes of world level fame. We have IIM in Lucknow. We have IITs, IIT BHU and IIT Kanpur, and many other institutions of world level fame. And in these 8-9 years, as you all would have seen, government is serious about industrialization. मतलब मेरी भी 18 साल की अब जॉब हो गई है, मतलब फर्स्ट टाइम आई एम सीइंग कि गवर्नमेंट अब इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन की बात हो रही है, बहुत सीरियसली होती है. और ठीक है, देयर आर स्टिल इश्यूज, अभी आप लोग भी बताएंगे. There are still many issues which I acknowledge. There are issues, but still improvement is there. So if we have to make SMEs as global brands, government is there to help, to support. करना तो हमारे इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट हैं, एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं, उन्हीं को है. And they are all very energetic, very enterprising. डावर साहब बैठे हैं, गौरव जी बैठे हैं, दे आर ऑल एंटरप्रेन्योर्स. करना आप ही लोगों को है, गवर्नमेंट, बट अब हैंड होल्डिंग के लिए, सपोर्ट के लिए ऑल आउट गवर्नमेंट इज़ देयर. आनंदी जी बैठी हैं, आप लोग सब एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं जिन्होंने खुद अचीव किया है सब कुछ. देयर आर मेनी थिंग्स एज यू सेड, जो बट इफ़ वी हैव टू मेक आवर MSMEs brands of a global standard, so for that I think एक्सपोर्ट जो भी हमारा हो रहा है, इट हैज़ टू बी ऑफ दैट लेवल, ऑफ दैट स्टैंडर्ड कि वो एक्सपोर्ट हो पाए. इट हैज़ टू बी एक्सेप्टेड वर्ल्ड वाइड. सो स्टेप्स आर गोइंग ऑन इन दैट वे. आर एक्सपोर्टर्स, जैसे मुरादाबाद जो हमारा सिटी है, 2000 एक्सपोर्टर्स तो अकेले मुरादाबाद में है. 2000. और मुरादाबाद जो पहले इट यूज टू बी फेमस फॉर ब्रास वर्क, now they have started doing everything, mixing brass with glass. Maybe ये जो हम chandeliers देख रहे हैं पहले फिरोज़ाबाद होता था, but अब मुरादाबाद आ गया है. So they have mixed brass with everything now, with furniture, with बरेली का पहले बेंत का फर्नीचर होता था फेमस, अब मुरादाबाद वालों ने बेंत में भी ब्रास मिक्स करके उसको एकदम एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं. सो जैसी रिक्वायरमेंट आई अब्रॉड में, उन्होंने उस तरह से अपने को वो कर लिया. सो देखिए, अगर एंटरप्राइज बनना है ग्लोबल स्टैंडर्ड का, तो एक्सपोजर हैज़ टू बी देयर. अनटिल एंड अनलेस वी नो कि वहाँ क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है अब्रॉड में, हम मालूम पड़ा कुछ बना रहे हैं और वहाँ वो एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं हो रहा. सो टू एनकरेज पार्टिसिपेशन in international fairs, international exhibitions also, government encourages. गवर्नमेंट का जो रोल है कि अगर कोई जाता है अब्रॉड कोई इंटरनेशनल फेयर में, एग्जीबिशन में, तो 80% ऑफ जो भी फेयर है, जो भी स्टॉल चार्जेस हैं, दैट आर रीइंबर्स्ड. सो ऑल दीज इंसेंटिव्स आर देयर. सो I can say कि for MSMEs, government is hand holding. There are many schemes which over, just as you will ask, I'll explain.
जी, तो जैसे आपने बताया कि वो ग्लोबल कनेक्ट होना चाहिए एंड अब ये क्रॉस इंडस्ट्रीज, जैसे मुरादाबाद ट्रेडिशनली ब्रास के लिए फेमस थी, बट अब ग्लास के साथ इट इज़ मिक्सिंग अप एंड डूइंग दीज थिंग्स. Similarly, if I talk about export potential further, UP government has identified products in 75 districts under ODOP scheme. So आपने कुछ एग्जांपल्स अभी दिए हैं लोकल इंडस्ट्रीज़ के, जिससे जॉब्स क्रिएट हो रहे हैं एंड दे आर कंट्रीब्यूटिंग एंड मेकिंग प्रोडक्ट्स फॉर द ग्लोबल मार्केट. बट कैन यू गिव मोर एग्जांपल्स ऑफ सच लोकलाइजेशन एंड हाउ इट इज़ ड्राइविंग ग्रोथ फॉर MSMEs?
Ma'am, as you mentioned, ODOP scheme, that stands for One District, One Product. This scheme was envisaged by our Honorable Chief Minister, and he initiated this scheme in 2019 in the state. January 2019, this scheme was rolled out. And our state, UP, has been rich in handicraft since ages. That has been our strength. But what was happening was the next generation, they were not so enthusiastic about these handicraft products. वो लोग IT में जा रहे थे and बैंगलोर जाके कोई और jobs वगैरह, they had started doing all that, and the old handicraft, जो old strength थी, that was dying. With this scheme, now the impetus on handicrafts, the exports of handicrafts has again increased. Our exports, which were around 5 years back, around 88,000 crores, after 5 years now they were 1.75 lakh crores, and 60% of the share of UP's exports is contributed by these ODOP handicraft products. So there are many examples. लखनऊ में हम बैठे हैं, यहाँ का जो काम होता है, देयर आर मेनी एक्सपोर्टर्स जो कि लखनऊ से जो यहाँ पे काम होता है, इट इज़ एक्सपोर्टेड आउटसाइड ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड. लखनऊ हो गया, मुरादाबाद आई मेंशन्ड, देन बनारस, भदोही, carpets of Bhadohi, they have an immense export potential, and there are many products, Aligarh, then Saharanpur, there are exporters everywhere. I'll give you one, I'll share one of my very interesting experiences. When I joined MSME department, there was one event in Greater Noida that is called IHGF, which I recommend here to everyone, India Handicrafts and Fair. It's organized in Greater Noida Expo Mart. और साल में 2 बार होता है, once in Feb and once in October. And there all exporters all across India, they participate. Exporters all over India, only exporters they participate. और B2B होता है बस, B2C का वहाँ it's not allowed, only B2B. तो when मेरा MSME का उतना एक्सपोजर नहीं था, I wasn't aware कि क्या क्या बनता है इंडिया में. When I entered that huge, it's a huge complex, वहाँ पे there are 15 halls, and every hall, ये जो अपना hall है, इससे भी थोड़ा सा बड़ा, और 15 such halls, all occupied by exporters from India, many from our state. और जब वहाँ वॉक कर रहे थे तो ये नहीं लग रहा था कि इंडिया में वॉक कर रहे हैं. Such nice products, लग रहा था कि कहीं अमेरिका या कहाँ हम लोग वो कर रहे हैं वॉक. इतनी बढ़िया स्मेल आ रही, फ्रेग्रेंसेस, क्या प्रोडक्ट्स थे, हाई एंड प्रोडक्ट्स. I was amazed कि these products are being made in India. यहाँ के तो मार्केट में वो सब आता ही नहीं है, बना और धीरे से बाहर. So immense amount of work is being done in UP, in India. There are many products, मतलब बहुत प्रोडक्ट्स तो वहाँ जाके पता लगते हैं कि यार ये सब भी बन रहा है. आगरा में जो होम फर्निशिंग्स में अपने बेडशीट्स, कुशन्स, दे आर मेड इन आगरा, जयपुर. आगरा में लेदर का ही लोग बताते हैं, लेदर इज देयर, बट ये भी बन रहा है. सो आई एम वेरी होपफुल. आवर MSMEs, they are exporting, and young people are now being involved in industrialization. They are very enthusiastic about this. MSME में आके, और when I have joined this department, it's been 1.5 years now. Every week एक ना एक सक्सेस स्टोरी मेरे सामने आ जाती है. इस तरह के लोग आते हैं who started their work कि साहब 50 लाख रुपए का लोन हमने लिया था 10 साल पहले और आज वो 5 करोड़ 10 करोड़ तक का काम कर रहे हैं. एवरेज फैमिलीज़ के बच्चे हैं, कहीं से उन्होंने किसी स्कीम में कुछ लोन लिया, कुछ किया इधर उधर करके, एंड दे आर सो एनर्जेटिक, सो एंथुजियास्टिक, और क्या कर सकते हैं, और आज 5 करोड़ 10 करोड़ का उनका एनुअल काम है. सो देयर आर मेनी प्रोडक्ट्स मैम, मेनी ODOP प्रोडक्ट्स.
But like you said that there is the issue of future generations, sometimes there's a lack of interest by them to take up the trade, which can lead to, मतलब उस traditional craft का, it can lead to a decline in that. So what can be done to encourage such enterprises and create that enthusiasm among the next gen to take up such crafts?
See, any business अगर उसमें growth होगी, so future generations को और कुछ नहीं चाहिए. They want orders, both from international market, national market, कहीं से भी हो, they need orders. So future generation को if we have to invite, we have to ensure that our products are of a global standard if we have to export them. If they need to export, they must also be aware of the latest guidelines, क्या वहाँ पे licenses, requirement and all. For that we conduct workshops. There is an interaction amongst the banks, the Exim banks, the customs department, the exporters and all. And as we have seen, as I mentioned also, the stats also, they say our exports have increased and the share of ODOP products is there. Plus, to encourage, as I mentioned earlier also, if one has to participate in any international exhibition, कोई फेयर हो, आपके दिमाग में कोई फेयर हो कि साहब मुझे एम्स्टर्डम में वो फेयर है, वो उसमें मुझे जाना है, तो यू जस्ट अप्रोच अस. आपके आने जाने का फेयर टू एंड फ्रो प्लस स्टॉल चार्जेस, जो भी उसमें अमाउंट आएगा 75% इफ आई रिमेंबर करेक्टली, और 70% दैट इज रीइंबर्स्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट. So until and unless one goes abroad, sees for himself, sees the market there, goes and speaks to the buyers there, वो एक्सपोर्ट वाली बात तो नहीं आ सकती. You can't just stay in India and आपको फिर आइडिया लग जाएगा वहाँ जाके. और there are many stories. मे बी आप लोग में से जब कुछ लोग आएंगे who are exporters and all, आप लोग शेयर करेंगे stories. I have spoken to many people. It's only when one goes abroad, interacts with the buyers, और बहुत orders मिलते हैं, बहुत orders मिलते हैं. And plus, I'll also mention here, एक हम लोगों ने एक annual event start किया है, which is called UP International Trade Show. Last year we started it in Greater Noida Expo Mart, that same venue which I was mentioning, that जहाँ पे India Handicrafts Fair होता है. In that event, all industries based in UP, all industries, they were given an opportunity to establish a stall there, and वहाँ पे भी we invited buyers. I think around 400 buyers they came, 400-500 buyers they had come from international countries. This year also in September, now it's going to be an annual event. Same venue, वहाँ पे there are buyers, national, international. मतलब देखिए, until and unless you go participate in exhibitions, fairs, तो so UP as a state has started its first international trade show in which there are international buyers. So all these steps are being are there to encourage the MSMEs, to encourage our handicrafts people.
And lastly, I want to ask you that you mentioned about how exports have increased, and I think they've come to about $21.68 billion during 2022-23 in UP. So what are some of the sectors that have taken a leap, जिसमें potential है, जिसमें MSMEs भी आके उसमें growth की उपेक्षा रख सकती हैं?
If I speak of MSMEs, UP में there is a dominance of agro-based products and handloom textiles. Then we have handicraft products, जो हमारा ODOP कह लें, या जैसे आगरा में लेदर है, मुरादाबाद का ब्रास वर्क है, all these I am saying as handicraft products. और भदोही में कारपेट है, अलीगढ़ का लॉक इंडस्ट्री इज देयर, स्टैचूज एंड ऑल, प्लस ये अपना नोएडा इज़ ऑल अबाउट गारमेंट्स. नोएडा का एक्सपोर्ट्स, आई थिंक इफ सम ऑफ द एक्सपर्ट्स आर देयर दे विल शेयर द एग्जैक्ट फिगर्स. व्हाट आई रिमेंबर कि नोएडा से अकेले 20,000 करोड़ का एक्सपोर्ट है एनुअल. ये तो एक्सपोर्ट है आउट ऑफ इंडिया. विद इन इंडिया और भी बड़ी फिगर होगी. So Noida, which is in our state, is a big garment and apparel hub. And Lucknow में we have started work on 1,000 acre textile park. Textile में whoever is interested, textile is also a low investment business. Investment ज़्यादा नहीं लगता. 1 करोड़ भी आप लगाएंगे तो you can start a big industry. टेक्सटाइल के लिए 1,000 एकड़ का एक टेक्सटाइल पार्क is going to start in लखनऊ हरदोई बॉर्डर पे, बिहाइंड IIM अपना जो है, IIM लखनऊ के बैक साइड में. इट्स अटारी गांव करके पड़ता है. 1,000 एकड़ का टेक्सटाइल एंड 80 बिग इन्वेस्टर्स हैव ऑलरेडी साइंड MOUs. अब उसमें क्या चल रहा है कि लैंड इज विद अस, बाउंड्री एंड ऑल हैज़ बीन डन. Now we are in the process of identifying a master developer who will make that area like to establish industries, who will make the roads, the power, infrastructure. So I think it will take 1 more year and then the allotment of plots and all will start. So Lucknow after Noida, I can see after 8-10 years, Lucknow is going to be a big hub for apparels and garments.
So I think that's a cue for everybody who's looking at apparel more seriously to just take this opportunity. I would like to now open the floor for questions. If anybody has a question to ask, Mr. Yadav.
Hello. Good morning, Yadav ji.
Good morning.
I am from Bhadoi. I'm into carpet exports. आपने अभी कहा कि the government gives ये incentives देती है जब आप shows में part लेते हैं. My question is, if there are 7 shows in 1 year, I have one company, will they provide me for all the 7 times or it's just limited? And the second part is, we do take, and I know that's a thing which has been provided by the government, but the point is the return of that money is pretty late. There are certain places where government have to look for that. It's a wonderful scheme. It encourages us to go all the way around and show our products. And we have increased our exports through that. But my point is, if there are 7 shows, are the government going to go for 7 times in a year? And how fast we can get our reimbursements back?
I'll have to exactly inquire whether it would be allowed, but as far as I can think कि एक कंपनी को 7 बार अलाउ नहीं करेंगे. रीज़न बीइंग कि देयर आर मेनी MSMEs हियर एंड बजट गवर्नमेंट में उतना ही रहता है. तो आई फील सो, बट स्टिल I'll have to inquire and then I'll inform you the exact thing. But as you also agreed, participating in such exhibitions and fairs outside, it really helps.
Certainly, sir. मैं तो अपनी कंपनी का जानता हूँ. Things, the export have gone up just by taking parts in the exhibitions. बस वही है कि how fast we can get our reimbursements back.
हाँ, for that, हाँ, जो आपने कहा fast वाला, for that I agree. इस तरह का issues रहते हैं, उसमें we will improve. We'll start something online and
Wow,
just
that'll be
apply
great.
online.
Thank you.
इधर आप आना चाह रहे हैं.
Good afternoon, sir. I just want to know that a lot of industrialization is happening in the state of UP, but what are the MSME participation into that particular industrialization done by the large enterprises across India? So, Department of MSME should do something for the MSME organization based in UP so that they can participate into that industrialization also.
I didn't get it. What exactly you want to ask?
A lot of MSME who are working, they also need to be the partner into that industrialization.
नहीं वो तो you are right. देखिए what I have seen until and unless there is a big investor, anchor investor, वो MSMEs उसके साथ ही साथ आती हैं. टाटा मोटर्स है यहाँ लखनऊ में, so they once they came तो ancillaries आ गई उसके साथ में. Are you mentioning about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. UP based MSMEs, how they can join hands with the large enterprises?
See for that, जैसे I mentioned लखनऊ में textile park is going to come. Within 5 years or 10 years, you will find big groups here. Raymond's, Arvind Mills, Aditya Birla Group. So, एक बार ये heavy investors आ गए. So, around them, अब इनको, for example, इनके around them ancillaries will come automatically. So, as government, we are in interaction with these big groups, what we call as anchor investors. And one, as you also agreed, एक बार ये एंकर इन्वेस्टर्स आ जाते हैं तो MSMEs ऑटोमेटिकली दे कम.
Okay, we'll take one last question, then we'll
Namaskar, मेरा नाम विनम्र अग्रवाल है. Good morning. Sir, I had just, with your permission, I had just 2 suggestions on this, which can probably facilitate this very easily. So UP ITS has become a great platform, a great trade show, and I'm very happy to hear it's becoming an annual event. Maybe as on the sidelines of UP ITS, if government could look at organizing a structured buyer-seller meet where industries that are investing in UP or looking at growing in UP can also mention upfront what their requirements are. And since that is going to be a great platform for MSMEs to be present, it will give a great opportunity to connect large industries that are planning on setting up shop in UP versus MSMEs already present to try and explore what are the areas of collaborate that they can get into so that that kind of ancillarization can be done. And I think we see this many times that because of a lack of information and knowledge, industries are forced to rely on their supplier base that exists in Gujarat or Maharashtra, and absolutely if you're in UP, you should be looking at UP. So that's one small suggestion that I had. Maybe you could look at it. And secondly, sir, you spoke about the need for traveling to export markets or trade shows or conferences. You've also spoken about Noida. My humble submission is that partly the reason for the success of Noida is also the proximity to Delhi and the large international audience it is able to attract. And my submission to that is that Lucknow is now becoming a great destination. It is a great city. It's a beautiful city now. And I think we are perfectly in the right place for having a large international trade show convention center of our own that can then be used to organize events like this. And I think that is something that is exactly what your department can probably, take up. I think if you were able to do that with the increasing air connectivity in Lucknow, we can possibly develop Lucknow as a great trade show destination. And then that can perhaps also become one more magnet for industrialization and bringing buyers here. So just 2 small suggestions. Thank you.
Convention center ka which you mentioned, I have also heard Awas Vikas, like apna Medanta hospital is there. Then there is Awadh Shilpgram. Behind Awadh Shilpgram, they have identified a big chunk of land. Usme they are planning to make a big convention center. And so let's hope कि वो जो आपके idea है, we have a good convention center in Lucknow.
We'll take the other questions during networking because we are totally out of time, and we will go on to the next session now. Thank you so much, Pranjal, for joining us and for giving us those insights. We look forward to interacting with you on the sidelines. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sir, would like to request you to please be on stage. So I would like to request you to please be on stage. Thank you so much, Neha ma'am, for moderating this session. Ladies and gentlemen, as now it is time for token of appreciation. For that, I would like to request Assistant Editor ET Government, Mr. Arpit Gupta sir, to please join us on stage and give the token of appreciation to Shri Pranjal Yadav sir. एक ज़ोरदार तालियां हो जाए देवी और सज्जनों. आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगी सर कि आपने अपना कीमती समय निकाला हो और इस कार्यक्रम में अपनी उपस्थिति दी और यहाँ उपस्थित हमारे जितने भी अतिथिगण हैं उन्हें अन्य जानकारियाँ दी. एक ज़ोरदार तालियां हो जाए देवी और सज्जनों. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to move to our next session, I would like to request you all to please be here for 2 minutes as we'll be taking 2 minutes to set up this stage. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, a very warm welcome to you as we are moving further for our next session. We have a panel discussion where distinguished panelists, including key leaders from prominent MSME-focused industry bodies, chambers and association will share their insights on the UP's industrialization and economic growth, finding the balance between labor-intensive manufacturing and services. For that, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to welcome on stage Neha Diwan, Assistant News Editor, Economic Times, to please join us on stage to moderate the session. Let's have a big round of applause for ma'am. A very warm welcome to you. As ladies and gentlemen, moving further, I would also like to request to put your hands together as I welcome each of our panelists on stage. Please put your hands together for Nikita Khanna, founder of Kati Carpets. Let's have a big round of applause. A very warm welcome to you. As we move further, would like to request President of Agra Footwear Manufacturers and Exporters Chamber, Puran Dawar, to please join us on stage. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Can we have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as we are welcoming our panelists on this stage. As we move further, would like to request and please put your hands together for Chairman MSME, Confederation of India Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Let's have a big round of applause for Gaurav Prakash, sir. Can we have a big round of applause? A very warm welcome to you, sir. As we move further, would like to invite on stage Convener, CII Policy Advocacy Panel and Director, Rajat Chemical Industry, Rajat Mehra sir, on stage with a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for all our panelists seated on the dais stage today? A very warm welcome. आप सभी का बहुत-बहुत स्वागत और अभिनंदन है. Over to you, Neha ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone, and it's glad to have you all here on the panel. So, welcome. I would like to straight get into the agenda of it, which is about finding the balance between labor-intensive manufacturing and services. But before we begin that, let us get an overview and let's do a quick check from all of you on what is working in favor and against UP's SMEs. So, Rajat, why don't we start with you?
Thank you, Neha, and good afternoon, everybody here. And thank you, ET, for having given me an opportunity to share my views. See, there are two things, there are two sides to the story. That as you just now in the morning, you heard out the Principal Secretary MSME and Secretary MSME speaking out very eloquently about what is being done to promote industries. And to that extent, we must give credit to government that they are really leaving no stone unturned in attracting and encouraging industrial investment in Uttar Pradesh. So lots of things are being done, as you all must be knowing, that recently in groundbreaking ceremony, government declared that some 10 trillion rupees worth of investment is actually now destined to come to state. That may start showing up for next 2 to 3 years, which would propel UP's GDP also. And it would also give boost to employment opportunities. But the flip side is that while new investment is being very aggressively invited and encouraged, it's the existing industry which actually is being given, it feels that it's being given a rough shot. In the sense, the term I'm using, it may sound a bit strong, but there are a couple of things where what is happening is that, while new industry is being encouraged by providing them all kinds of SOPs, all kinds of incentives, they are given complete exemption in electricity duty for next 7 years. But electricity is something which is consumed by all, whether it is new investment or it is an existing industry. Now, what existing industry that is facing is that for last 12 years, the electricity duty has gone up from 9 paisa per unit to 7.5% of the total energy cost, which in today it costs about 75 to 90 paisa per unit, which is an exorbitant amount for industry to actually survive. We have been making representations, but the government seems to be not responsive. The second thing that government, it has extremely good intent in terms of policy, but when it comes to execution down the middle level and down to the lower level bureaucracy, things don't seem to be actually getting translated to the extent that they should be. For example, they have a provision that for consent of even UP pollution, they have that 10 years and consent validity would be there if for those and units which are in green category, but you don't get for more than 5 years. And they have a very stock and stoic kind of response. 10 साल किसने देखे हैं, 5 साल के लिए आपको मिल रहा है, so we gratefully accept that also. Then there are third thing, what I said, that middle and lower level bureaucracy, why they are showing signs of indifferences, that for last 2 decades there has been a provision in government that no inspector would be visiting an MSME without prior permission of the district magistrate. And this has been very stringently being followed. Now, recently, about a couple of years back, some very brilliant, bright officers went back to the government and they said that, look, we want to do ease of doing business. So for ease of doing business, we send every time an inspector has to take permission from DM. And why don't we make that, we form a team of 6 or 8 inspectors representing all the departments. So they take one permission and they go. And then what happens is that our fellow entrepreneur suddenly, on one fine Sunday afternoon, he gets a message that, hello, we'll be coming visiting you. And this fellow gets knocked out of his chair, that who this fellow is it a random call or is it a spam, what is it? So what happens is that earlier if somebody was handling one officer, now he has to handle 6. So these kinds of things, irritants are there. Government will have to be responsive, that just having good intent at the top won't work. Down to the lowest level, it has to translate. While you invite new industries, good, but at the same time, you have to take care of the old ones also. Otherwise, as in the morning, the secretary was continuously, he was resenting that why industries remain dwarf. So why they remain dwarf, they really will have to see, are they really remaining dwarf, or are you not providing them the kind of culture or kind of system that they should actually grow. So these are some of the things that are actually not working or are not in favor of industry.
Right, so basically an enabling environment which can, make them aspire them and make them go to the next level. Gaurav, what do you want to add to this?
I think Sir started with a beautiful note to the subject. So thank you to the ET team. Neha ji, thank you so much. Arpit, thank you so much. All the family of ET, thank you so much for having all of us here. Respected members on the dais, elders, my friends are here. So I would start, because we are from Lucknow, so Lucknow ki aada to aani chahiye subject pe, because we're talking about micro, small, medium enterprises, and they are the unsung heroes of our economy, unsung warriors of our economy, still carrying the baton of some hope that someday they will be on the victory side. So वो कहते हैं कि वो हकदार हैं किनारों के जो बदल दे बहारों को, कुछ वो भी हैं जो वक्त के साँचे में ढल गए और कुछ वो भी हैं जिनसे वक्त के साँचे बदल गए. They are in truest form the unsung heroes who have been fighting continuously. And Neha ji, let me be very honest to you. We talk about, again, we started with small, medium enterprises. We have to think about that micro industry who forms the backbone of the medium and small scale industries. 90% of our micro industries are still struggling to get back to their bases. We call about UNP Uttar Pradesh. Something very interesting, I broke it down. U, unlimited, P, problems. U and P, okay? So now the times are coming new. Post-COVID, post the new government coming into power, there's been a synchronization of center and the state, which gives you more confidence, more law and orders in control. You feel that this investment opportunities are coming more in hand. So the U turns into unlimited potentials and unlimited possibilities. The times are coming up. 2024 is again just a new, we are entering into the central elections taking place. Let's hope a better government comes into power, which is in control. And let's see how this impacts the micro industries. My concern today is not about the medium and the small scale industries. My scale is that single drop of the ocean, if it dries up, what will happen to the ocean?
Right. So micro enterprises need the focus. They need to be more seen, and they need more visibility in the MSME ecosystem. Mr. Davar, what do you like to say on this?
I think there are many reasons to cheer in Uttar Pradesh. UP, I'm from the export side. The UP is one of the first state to forming its own export policy. Generally, it used to be the subject of always a central policy. In a much earlier stage, when Mr. Kalyan Singh was the Chief Minister of UP, the export was always in the focus. There's a reason the UP is the largest exporter of the handicraft in India. UP is the second largest exporter of footwear and leather products from India. The carpets are growing, and many things are growing. ODOP, one district, one project, one product, is absolutely out of the box scheme. Definitely to keep the clusters alive and clusters to take on the next graduate on the next level. This ODOP scheme, I think it's a wonderful idea, but it's missing the roadmap. I don't think there is a right roadmap is there to how to take this to the next level. This roadmap has to be prepared. At one district, as far as when we talk about skill, skilling is the key to graduate any cluster to the next level. At one district, one product, as we need to make a syllabus of all these products. So introduce into our education. There's a cluster-centric education. So we have the one district, one product, we have the one subject, one curriculum, so that we really can improve and grow. As far as I said, the many reasons to cheer, the efforts on investment summits, and this investment in UP, as Mr. Alok Kumar also emphasizes, if the largest are coming, and then SMEs are definitely going to be, the ancillary units will be there. These so many efforts are going on, and the most thing to cheer in Uttar Pradesh is what we actually need, a hassle-free atmosphere, the safe environment. And UP at the moment has definitely given the most safest environment, the secured environment. So definitely the faith in UP has definitely increased. As far as the ease of doing is concerned, UP has jumped to the second stage, second level, but still there is a huge scope of improvement in this area. As far as the out of the development authorities areas is concerned, the government has made the scheme of the pledge parks, and also you just get the land use from agriculture to whatever use you want. 143 done, and you can start making, and in next 1,000 days you can complete all the compliances. But when you come to the development areas of the authority, there are 14 NOCs you require, and these all NOCs are by in person. The authority never sent these NOCs online. They never demand on email. This is given to personal, and we go to the person to person, and it takes almost a year and more than a year and a half to get a plan sanctioned. Our issue is the plan. मुझे लगता है कि प्लान भी कभी गलत बनता है. प्लान तो हमेशा ठीक ही बनता है, लेकिन प्लान जब एग्जीक्यूशन की बात है, जब एग्जीक्यूशन में जब 1, 1.5, 2 महीने लगाए जाते हैं या फिर 2 साल लगाए जाते हैं, या उसके पीछे से द डिफॉल्ट ऑफ करप्शन कह रहे हैं, और रीजन अनऑथराइज तभी बनता है. तो प्लान का बनाने का काम तो आर्किटेक्ट का है. लास्ट टाइम देयर वाज वन इवेंट इन लखनऊ. Also I raised these questions. The chief secretary was also there. The housing ACS was also there. The plan is made by architect. Architect अपनी डिग्री लगाता है, अपना सब कुछ लगाता है इसमें, और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी उसकी है. उसके बावजूद भी हम प्लान अप्रूवल में 1, 1.5, 2 साल लगा देते हैं, और उसके बाद में भी अनऑथराइज्ड बनते हैं. ये कहीं ना कहीं ऐसी विडंबना है जिसको अभी इम्प्रूव करने में की बहुत आवश्यकता है. अभी भी कंप्लाइंसेस का जहाँ तक इशू है, आई ऑलवेज फील द ऑल द कंप्लाइंसेस, वेदर इट इज सेफ्टी, इलेक्ट्रिकल सेफ्टी, whether it is environmental, whether it is pollution, whether it is following of national laws or labor laws, these should be always only and only by the independent agencies and the third party only, not at all by the government. Otherwise, we haven't improved. इतने लंबे प्रयासों के बावजूद भी हम लोग इम्प्रूव नहीं कर पाए, क्योंकि उस पर इंटेंशन उसके इम्प्रूव कराने की नहीं, कहीं ना कहीं एक अलग प्रैक्टिसेस की रहती है. तो हमको इस पर करना पड़ेगा एक ऑडिट प्रोसेस. कोई भी कंप्लाइंस है वो 1 साल 1 दिन में पूरी नहीं होती. इन कंप्लाइंसेस के लिए एक ऑडिट प्रोसेस, इट टेक्स 2 to 3 years to complete this all compliances. So we need a third party audit, a time based audit to get improved.
Right. And Nikita, your views on this, and you know, you are from Bhadohi, so yeah, want to know your views.
I am going to quickly sum up everything that my esteemed speakers have said here. I'm going to start by saying that some of the positives that is working for the UP SMEs is we have seen a large influx of tourists, which gives us a great opportunity to showcase our product both at a national level and at an international level. Adding to that, like all our keynote speakers said, we have a huge workforce available. All we need to do is train them and use them to our benefit. Our keynote speakers also told us how there is a lot of industrial corridors that are coming up. There is a lot of infrastructure development that is happening. This really eases up the space for us to do work. This eases the business capacities for young and small micro SMEs. Now, coming to some of the things that are not working in favor, and I'm going to talk from a very textile industry point of view. We are facing a fierce competition from the machine-made industry. Now is the time more than ever where we need government subsidy, we need government incentives to help us boost the entire industry. We need that kickstart from the government. And I am surprised to hear that there are so many schemes that are available and we are unaware about it. That I see is a major, major gap. Someone like us who comes from the urban lifestyle, I was unaware about so many amazing government schemes. Adding to that, say a couple of us who are aware, it is very, very difficult to access those schemes, to actually get the loans. So this I see is a major gap. Like Mr. Rajat rightly said, electricity is a major concern. It is absolutely increasing every day, and that adds as a major hindrance and increases my cost of production. Lastly, I'm going to take the liberty of talking about few inconsistent government schemes. This is very personal and very personal to the craft industry. This is Section 15 of the MSMED Act. Now, as per this section, you have to make a payment within 45 days. An industry like ours that has a long production cycle, we take 4 to 6 months to make our product. A large chunk of our working capital gets stuck in the very initial stage because of a mandate that the government has introduced. This leaves us with almost no working capital for the next 4 months. What do we do then? We then turn to the government for loans. And the loans are super expensive. So this is all adding to my cost of production. Then the government allows a credit period of 180 days to the overseas buyer. So the overseas buyer is paying me in 180 days. However, I am paying all my raw material, all my dyeing in 45 days. So for the next 4 to 6 months, I have no working capital. So small businesses like us are not able to fulfill the orders or they're getting shut down. So while the government has some amazing schemes, I feel they need to be tailor-made for a rural craft industry like ours. And if that is done, I see an exponential growth that will come in.
It's great. It's great to know about all the the challenges and the opportunities which are there for UP SMEs. I want to bring in a little bit about services as well here. Manufacturing. UP is known for its labor-intensive manufacturing, but also like Mr. Davar, if I can come back to you, what are the challenges in how are the challenges in manufacturing different from those in services? And as Nikita also mentioned that, there has to be more awareness on what is available and what is even there for you to, take benefit of. So do you think some special incentives are needed as far as manufacturing and services are concerned?
We should expect more and more subsidies. The capital cost in India is very high. The interest subvention is only the key. I think if government takes care of the interest subvention rather than giving any much in cash subsidies, that will definitely help. As far as MSME payment policy of 45 days, that is really affected. Intent of the government is wonderful, because it was अभी तक ये हो गया था पे बिल व ने बिल. जब होगा तो पे करेंगे, अपने लिए एक मर्सिडीज भी आ जाएगी, वो भी आ जाएगी और एमएसएमई को पेमेंट होता रहेगा. इंटेंट of the government, but it is between the buyer and the seller. Some buyer can afford, they have the उसकी USP है कि he has the finance, he can offer us the credit of 90 days, he can offer us the credit of 120 days, and some may not have. So there is, if there is in absence of any agreement between the buyer and the seller, मेरे सप्लायर में और मेरे सेलर में अगर एग्रीमेंट नहीं है तो 45 डेज में पेमेंट करना है तो दैट्स अ गुड. देयर शुड बी सम रेगुलेशन, सम प्रिंसिपल शुड बी देयर, बट एट लार्ज एक प्रिंसिपल बना देना कि 45 डेज में नहीं करेगा तो वो आपकी इनकम में ऐड कर दिया जाएगा, दैट इज रियली मेड some worries. Because particularly in exports, there is a process of manufacturing. Minimum.
You're saying this for both manufacturing and services?
Yeah,
for both.
For both. Manufacturing is more because services, you can do provide the services even online and even in minutes with the techniques. But in the production, in manufacturing, there is a process. And there's also logistic. From here to port and port to their delivery that takes from India, minimum, particularly UP, we don't have the direct port. So 1 week to the Mumbai, from Mumbai to is another 1 month minimum, 3 months production process, and another 3 months credit. There's a cycle of 120 to 180 days minimum. So I think if government takes care of capital cost at par with the developed world, with what they are having, and it serves the purpose. Industry is always made by the industry. We can't expect much from the government, otherwise it's from this pocket to this pocket only. इस पॉकेट से निकाल करके आपसे ही लेकर के वसूल करना है गवर्नमेंट, कोई पेड़ में तो लगने नहीं होते. सो कहीं ना कहीं पॉलिसीज अच्छे के लिए, बेटरमेंट के लिए आ रही है, इंटेंट अच्छा है, लेकिन उनको एक स्टेक होल्डर का कंसल्टेशन बहुत ज़रूरी है. स्टेक होल्डर से कंसल्ट करके अगर कोई पॉलिसीज़ को लिया जाता है, दैट विल बी डेफिनेटली गिविंग अस द मोर एज.
सो एट दिस पॉइंट गौरव, आपसे पूछना चाहूँगी मैं कि लेबर इंटेंसिव की तो हमेशा ही बात होती है जब उत्तर प्रदेश के बारे में बात करते हैं, एंड लेकिन इट इज़ ऑल्सो नोन फॉर इट्स सर्विसेज इन IT एंड ITES. इनफैक्ट यू नो जो फर्स्ट AICT इन लखनऊ आएगी, वो फर्स्ट AICT लखनऊ में आएगी, विच UP विल लुक एट. सो what is the potential that you see for services in the state, you know, in our journey to be $1 trillion in exports by 2030?
Neha, it's, I can't even tell you what are the prospects, the future prospects of this IT-enabled services coming into Uttar Pradesh. We are talking about a country right now. UP is like a country. If we talk about the population and the land bank today, we are as good as Brazil. So if you go from Purvanchal to Awadh and to Gorakhpur region, you just can't understand that today our labor intensive workforce is huge, the manpower is huge, but if you don't direct that energy, if you don't direct that power of workforce into a proper zone, and that can be only happen, that can only take place if your technology is supporting you today. We have seen that if technology-based organizations have been able to, you know, upgrade themselves, take on to the world, take on to your national challenges also. If you're not technology-wise today, if you talk about hospitality, you talk about tourism today, which is a widespread in UP. The religious tourism which is taking place huge. If that cannot be upscaled by technology. I was speaking to Mr. Shiv Nadar. He was visiting Lucknow, and he had a meeting with the Chief Minister. In fact, I had the opportunity to meet such a wonderful, humble personality. His fundamentals are very clear. In fact, today, the brand-intensive company which has come up today is in UP's HCL. We have with HCL in Lucknow also. You know how they have upscaled the level of technology and intensive enabled services today. In Uttar Pradesh, they've been able to map the plug-in, socket point, but they've been able to implement that. So you just can't take away technology to upgrade your skills, to you reach up to the standard of what the world requires from you. And since UP is the 5th largest country in the world, practically every 10th person is representing us across the globe. So yes, there is a need of it. And what actually I loved what Nikita raised the point of which is a problem of concern of the 45 days credit, which is actually, it's like a narrative being sent that the insecurity amongst the MSME, especially the micro and the medium scale enterprises. But, India is good for Jugaad technology. We are very good with Jugaad technology. You scratch my back, I scratch your back, and we are good, happy family. So yes, we are heading for a new India, and you cannot rule the progress of India without the IT-enabled services with us.
Right. On a similar note, Rajat, I would like to ask you that, of course, Uttar Pradesh is poised to emerge as a data center hub, as I just spoke about, with Lucknow being a prominent center. So what kind of digitalization initiatives do you think would be the need of the hour to make UP a center of holistic development, like 360 degrees?
See, digitalization is something which is inevitable in the sense that on a lighter note, I would just say that how things have actually moved forward, and it just cannot be, avoided. When my father went to engineering college, he used to use slide rule because that time calculators were not there. When I went to engineering college, we used scientific, calculators. But today's generation goes with laptop and tabs. And recently, I was having a chat with a very senior professor from IIM, and he made a wonderful point. He said that earlier, to keep the attention of our students, we just had one component. We had to focus on just one thing, the back screen, the big screen. Then later on, as time rolled on, we had a competition in the form of a smaller screen because they had a laptop in front of them. And then he says that now today we have a competition of two screens. They have a laptop and then they also have a smartphone there. So we have to make sure that they keep their attention on the back screen in the front, on the lighter note. But on a very serious note, digitalization is something which is inevitable. It is coming from all directions. The government is actually adopting digitalization in a very, very aggressive manner. There was a time when we used to make our applications physically, but today we are submitting everything online. We are getting consents online. We are getting NOCs online. So much so that industrial promotion policies which have come about and the subsidies that they are giving, there's a long series of documentation that needs to be submitted. And in fact, I myself did it just about a couple of months back. It was all online completely. I must have submitted some 30, 40 documents and just scanned them and just kept on uploading them. And then, not that they asked me anything. Of course, there may have been few things which they felt that the resolution was not there. But apart from that, they accepted whatever. And even if they found something missing on the uploaded document, they simply asked me to send another scanned copy by mail, and that's done. So then what you and I may not be realizing is that government is actually digitalizing the land revenue records in a very, very aggressive manner, and which would be key difference, which would make a fundamental difference to the way things are. Mr. Davar just now pointed out that we want some change of land use. We buy land in rural areas to set up industries. But today, if we do it, our district magistrates are actually inviting us that you get into a deal, you immediately come to me. We'll sit down, I'll show you, I'll just map that up on GPS, and I'll make sure that I'll tell you whether there are any encumbrances involved. That is the magic of digitalization. And this is just going to, keep going on. And when we say land record, it's basically an offshoot of blockchain. So blockchain, and IoT is coming in a big way. In small CCTV cameras used to be standalone. Today, you have CCTV camera on your phone, your app, and you are actually monitoring. This is an example of digitalization. So there is so much of information flow, so much of digitalization, and ultimately when there is so much flow of information, it has to be organized, and which is why we are talking about AI and all those things, because ultimately you and I as humans cannot process so much of information that is constantly flowing into us. So we need some kind of tools, and then that's where AI becomes relevant. And that is not going to go.
So UP is moving towards that path steadily?
Everybody has to. Everybody. I mean, digitalization is something which is inevitable. So we all have to be ready for that. We have to be prepared to unlearn something and relearn something.
MSMEs have to be more geared up to
Everybody.
take it on.
Yes, yes, yes. And I was attending recently about last year. I was attending a conference, an exhibition on Industry 4.0, and one issue that was being asked is that how MSMEs would be able to adopt this. Today, this may look a bit challenging because today the modules of Industry 4.0 are very expensive. But then, you know, the anecdotal evidence that I often keep on giving to these apprehensions is that I recall some 30, 40 years back when we were actually graduating out from engineering colleges. That time CNC machines were very new. And they were actually, CNC machines were so expensive, running into several crores, and only some top of the notch auto companies were installing that, Maruti or that kind. Today you have CNC machines which are available, you know, in fact hand-me-down kinds are coming because newer and newer models are coming, and if you want to just get newer one, you want to dispose it. So hand-me-downs are coming at very affordable price. You have small tool rooms which are actually having CNC machines, and there were apprehensions that who is going to operate these machines. But today you have people who are operating. Same questions were asked then also, that where are we going to get the skill? But then you have skill even in small tool rooms. So these things are, you know, these are natural progressions. They will never stop, and nothing will come in the way. No challenge will come in the way. People will train it. And as the critical mass keeps on going up, so does the cost coming down. Smartphones were so expensive. Today smartphones are available practically in everybody's hand because of the science.
It will be a natural path of evolution and progression as well. Nikita, I would like to bring you in at this point, and you know, we have spoken about digitalization, about services. From an exporter standpoint, since you are from the carpet manufacturing, I want to ask you that what are the issues that a manufacturer faces in the state versus an exporter in services?
I want to start this question by a thought that every manufacturer has for a service provider and a service provider has for a manufacturer. यार तुम लोगों की कैपिटल कॉस्ट कुछ है ही नहीं, बस सर्विस देते हो, पैसे आते हैं. सर्विस वाले कहते हैं यार तुम्हारा अच्छा है, जो बिकता है, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है, सही है, कुछ पुश नहीं करना पड़ता. But that's not how things work. I'm going to point out few real things. As a manufacturer, our working capital is so high. From the very inception stage, first we need to make hundreds of samples before we secure one order. That is a might secure one order situation. So our working capital has already gone in making just hundreds of samples. Now we have to do warehousing for those hundreds of samples, maintain them, keep them properly, market them, take part in trade fairs. This is just the initial capital investment. Then, like all of you said, if I have to get an order from a big buying house, I need to be compliant. My industry needs to be compliant. So I have to get the good weave, I have to get the ISO certifications. All of that comes at a cost. Somehow, miraculously, I've managed to do all of this. And now I've reached a point where I'm like, this is perfect. I have an order. I don't have the labor. The labor is migrating, or they're like, nahi, nahi, ye bahut tough hai, ye bahut zyada skill hai, ye nahi hum bana payenge, iska rate zyada hoega. But I did not factor in that rate because I assumed that UP will have great skilled labor. Somehow, I have even managed to navigate that and reach the labor stage. Suddenly, post-COVID, shipping rates have gone up so much. So I need the government to come in and be like, look, Nikita, you're a small MSME, and we will give you shipping subsidy. That's the kind of support a manufacturer needs. Now, coming to the drawbacks of a service provider, they have to invest in infrastructure from the very beginning. A very robust IT infrastructure is required for them, which of course takes time to build. You need constant electricity, you need highly trained staff. You have to train your staff, and after you train your staff, if they leave, there's retention problem. So training and retention is a big concern for your IT service providers. And obviously, you have all your cyber security, that is a big concern. And lastly, I feel like a service provider is giving an experience. So if I'm an exporter of a service, how can I give a seamless experience besides selling a great product? Is if I can talk well, if I can communicate well with you. But in my case, because I'm an exporter, it becomes difficult because of the language barriers, certain other cultural, ethical barriers. So pros and cons of both, each to its own on that.
Mr. Dawar, you've heard Nikita detail the issues in manufacturing and in services. What reforms are the need of the hour in your view?
Exactly speaking, the industry in itself is a social service. It provides huge lot of jobs. मुझे लगता है कि एक प्रोडक्ट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, मर्चेंडाइज एक्सपोर्ट्स, सर्विस एक्सपोर्ट से कहीं ज़्यादा एम्प्लॉयमेंट देता है और एम्फेसिस उस पर रहना ही चाहिए और गवर्नमेंट का फोकस मर्चेंडाइज एक्सपोर्ट पर ही ज़्यादा है. As far as the market is concerned, the world is looking India as a global market also and a global factory also. There is a huge potential. उस पोटेंशियल को कहीं ना कहीं हमको स्केल अप करने के लिए अपने माइंडसेट को कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा सा बदलना है. एक कंसर्न हमारे आलोक कुमार साहब जब बात कर रहे थे कि हम स्केल अप क्यों नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. हमारी जो 90 लाख एसएमई यूनिट्स हैं और महाराष्ट्र की 10 यूनिट उससे कहीं ज़्यादा करती हैं, हम कहीं नहीं कर पा रहे. तो स्केल अप करने के लिए कहीं ना कहीं एक आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स हम लोगों को थिंकिंग करनी होगी और एक जो मेजर जो कंसर्न्स, खासतौर से कैपिटल के कंसर्न्स जो हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं हमको एड्रेस करने हैं. और स्टेट की जो फैसिलिटीज़ है इंडस्ट्रीज को इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट ही बनाते हैं. अभी निकिता ने कहा कि अभी बिकॉज ऑफ दिस war or Israelis and this war, that's affected our logistic cost has gone up. एक कंटेनर का जो प्राइसेस जो हमारा $1,500 होता था आज $5,000 देना पड़ रहा है. तो गवर्नमेंट मस्ट कम एंड सब्सिडाइज दिस. आई एम ऑफ द पॉइंट नो, आई डोंट एग्री विद दिस कि मेरा प्रॉफिट है ही. मैं कभी कमाता हूँ तो कभी कमाता भी हूँ. उसके लिए गवर्नमेंट क्यों लूजर होनी चाहिए. कहीं ना कहीं ये कहीं ना कहीं इंडस्ट्री का एक अपना ओन ओनर्स है. इंडस्ट्री को इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट ही बनाएंगे.
I think Nikita wants to add to that point.
He is a veteran in the industry. He is. I don't think he's micro anymore. He's a big player. For us micro people, small subsidies like this will bring a big change. Once you've escalated to a level where you can absorb your cost, that's a whole different scenario. And I wish for every micro to reach.
I am of the opinion that there's no cash subsidy at all. Only the tax-based subsidies, investment allowance, that we can do more and more investment into our own industries, and interest subvention. Cash subsidy नाम का वर्ड तो हम चाहते ही नहीं कि cash subsidy leads to all the corruptions and all these things. And only way to grow is our investment allowance kept. And this should be the tax-based subsidies. No cash subsidies.
Government has actually, in fact, in exports, Mr. Dawar must be knowing this, government has done away with most of the subsidies now and they have come up with road tax scheme. And even under the PLI that they are offering, they are just offering about 6% disability factor, that's it. So, they are not offering something, what out of the world, which they used to promise sky and stars earlier, but that is no longer there. So, these are some of the realities that everybody will have to shape up and reconcile.
So do you agree that subsidies are not needed for MSMEs?
No, I mean, that can vary from sector to sector, but basically what is needed is to bring down the cost of operation. And to that extent, merely, standing here and resenting that industries are continuing to remain dwarf and perhaps they want to remain dwarf and whatever reason, they really need to do some strong introspection that why they are unable to grow. Merely standing here and making those, those kinds of remarks and resenting and then saying that you don't have belly in your fire, you don't have fire in your belly and therefore you don't want to grow, that is not good enough reason. Everybody wants to grow, but then they have to look back to their own system that cost of compliance is progressively going up. And if cost of compliance keeps growing up, like you asked this question to Mr. Dawar, that what is it that manufacturing, what should be done, what are the key reasons, reforms that are needed in manufacturing. So, and why people are actually migrating from manufacturing to service. This is something this is happening very, at a very rapid pace. I'm actually seeing several of my friends who were into manufacturing, they have shut down their units, they have gone into services. They have started their hotels or some other kinds of services. And, or they have gone into trading. So these are some of the crying questions that need to be addressed.
So why is that migration happening?
See, there are a couple of things that the cost of compliance has gone up. There are too many regulatory provisions are there, and it is impossible for micro small sector to actually absorb that kind of regulatory expenses. When we say micro small, I mean, just to put things in perspective, you just look at the number. The secretary was saying that we have so small number of units which are large and then so small. This is a problem which is a chronic problem for the entire India. In India, there are about 8.5 crore business units. Out of these 8.5 crore business units, there are just about 50,000 which are in large sector, which have their turnover exceeding 250 crores, right? And then there are just about 2,40,000 which are medium sized, which are from 50 crores to 250 crores. And then there are just about 7.5 lakhs in small sector, that is 5 crores to 50 crores. That is a size. So that means that the rest of the entire business, including trading units, are all micro sized. So you take away these 10 lakh units, 1 million out of 8.5 crores, the rest of the entire business is micro. If this entire business out of 8.5 crore, let's say 8 crore 40 lakhs is micro units, whether trading or manufacturing or service providing, and then expecting that they are going to, comply with so many stringent regulatory provisions, labor laws, ESI, EEPF, then there are too many overlapping things. Government actually finds some of the things which are politically very contentious. They don't want to delve into those areas. Labor is one of those. They don't want to get into those. But unless you address that, there is not going to be the effect, in the sense that there are 6.35 crore MSMEs providing employment to 12 crore people. That is at 1.9x. About 10 years back, 15 years back, this was 5.5 crores providing to 11 plus. It was 2.1x. Why this x has come down is something to be seen. So these are some of the things that need to be addressed. I mean, just can't keep on giving lip service and expect that people will start growing. No, they will start migrating.
Neha, this is the exact problem. My start was, we need to look at the micro. The problem lies there. The bottom of the pyramid is too heavy. And if we are unable to look after them, your questions towards service oriented, to IT technology people, why people are shutting down their business, Ramu ki dukaan, Kallu carpenter, Ramu driver, ये सब micro industries में आते हैं. अगर हम लोग इनको ध्यान नहीं रखेंगे, then we are the next people to fall. It is as simple as that. And no matter how large-scale industries, even large-scale industries are dependent on the ancillary industries, and they are dependent on micro-industries. If they stop functioning, your main industry stops functioning. And the biggest problem I think we have not been able to address is mapping a large-scale, suppose a large-scale industry comes into a particular state. he is procuring a raw material or a technology from outside the state. There is still no government in India has formed, a state government or a central government has formed a directory. In fact, if through you, if it can reach out to the central government and the state government, various state governments, to please come out with directories pertaining to different zones, pertaining to different dealers, pertaining to their numbers and addresses, whereby the procurement can be done within the state government instead of going to various other state governments or even procuring from outside our country. It's so important to map your requirement to the micro industries or small scale industries. It's so important.
Right, and I think this also gives us, an insight into the problem of the missing middle and what can really be done. We keep saying how we are failing to scale, but then as Rajat is also saying, that we have to understand why they are not growing to the next level and what can be done to really make them, go the next mile. I think that is the main point that you're making.
Like Mr. Davar mentioned about ODOP. The secretaries were also mentioning about ODOP. ODOP is a wonderful scheme. It's an exceptionally good idea. And it's not that it just came out, out of thin air and out of blue skies. A lot of work went to it. Almost 5 years of work went to it. This work has been going on since 2015. I personally have been involved in how they did it was also phenomenal. That they actually produced 2 TV shows where every district was visited, and we tried to figure out what are those economic activities there which have potential to grow. And that is how it came out that there is a unique product or a unique service that every district of UP has. And that is how things moved forward. And finally in 2018, when Global Investor Summit was organized, that was when the first time that ODOP idea was showcased by the government of Uttar Pradesh. And several good things have been done. But to the extent that the previous ACS actually went ahead and signed MOU with 2 e-commerce companies, Flipkart and Amazon. But I was actually quite shocked to listen when Secretary said that those craftsmen are either they are not scaling up or they are not registering on those because they feel that they feel apprehensive that they don't want to get into GST network. So this is a feedback that needs to be given back, that why they are not scaling up. Because you and I are craftsmen, we would like to scale up. But there has to be some reason why we are not scaling up. What are those reasons? They have to find out. And they have to address them. You cannot, keep on dusting everything under the carpet. It's politically contentious, so I'm not going to speak about it. You have to. Otherwise, you keep on cribbing and crying that people want to remain dwarf. They are remaining dwarf. See, Mexico grows 4 times and US grows 14 times. And you keep on re-quoting that 2019 economic advisor, chief economic advisor's report, survey, in which he said that Indian industries remain dwarf, Mexico grows 4 times, America grows 14 times.
Yes.
There has to be reason. You just can't say they want subsidy. This is no conclusion that I and you want subsidy, therefore we don't want to grow. So this itself is a faulty conclusion that they had actually come to, and which is what is being re-echoed now.
Right. I think we have had this panel and there have been a lot of interesting takeaways on manufacturing, services, and also about the power and strength of micro enterprises and what they can set out to achieve given their strength and the numbers in the Indian MSME ecosystem. Thank you so much for joining us and for giving us those wonderful, interesting takeaways. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I would like to request all our esteemed speakers, our panelists, to please be seated. Can we have a big round of applause? It was such an insightful and wonderful discussion, isn't it? Can we have a big round of applause? Thank you so much to all our speakers for giving us so much of knowledge. And now I would like to request Neha Diwan, Assistant News Editor, Economics Times, to please give the token of appreciation to Nikita Khanna, founder of Kati Carpets. Can we have a big round of applause? Thank you so much to Ms. Nikita Khanna for coming here and being a part of such wonderful event today. Would like to request to please give the token of appreciation to Puran Dawar, President of Agra Footwear Manufacturers and Exporter Chamber. Can we have a big round of applause? Thank you so much, sir, for being here. As we move further, would like to request you to please hand over to Mr. Gaurav Prakash, Chairman, MSME Confederation of Indian Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Can we have a big round of applause? Thank you so much for coming here, taking time from your busy schedule, and would like to request to please give to Mr. Rajat Mehra, Convener, CIA Policy Advocacy Panel and Director, Rajat Chemical Industry. Can we have a big round of applause for Rajat Mehra? Thank you so much, sir, for being here, and let's have a big round of applause for all our speakers all together. Thank you so much to all our speakers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we move further, now is the time we have a presentation on the topic Empowering Indian MSMEs through Digital Transformation. And for that, before we move further, I would like to request everybody to please get settled down. Thank you so much. So for that, we have with us, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. I would like to invite on stage Senior Solution Consultant, Adobe, Mr. Mohammed Yaman, to please join us on stage with a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Can we have you on stage, please, to present the presentation on empowering Indian MSMEs through digital transformation. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Can we have a big round of applause, please?
Thank you for having me here. As you know, the topic is empowering Indian MSME through digital transformation. The world is moving towards digitization. Everything is getting digitized. Now, how Adobe can help you in this digitization journey, that is something which I like to cover today. In the next 15 to 20 minutes, you will going to see what type of solution we have which will help you to grow your business, to grow your operations, things like that. Adobe is a digital experience company. Adobe is now 40-year-old company. In India, Adobe is now 25-year-old company. And when we say the word Adobe, what comes in your mind? What is the first thing comes in your mind when you hear the word Adobe? Maybe someone will think Acrobat, PDF, or maybe Photoshop, right? Photoshop is the one which most of the people think of, or PDF is also sometimes people think, because when you open a PDF file, it get open in Acrobat Reader or Acrobat Pro, whatever you are using. Let me tell you what Adobe is all about. So we have three solutions. The first one is Adobe Creative Cloud. Anything and everything related to creativity. Designing. When it comes to design and creativity, Adobe names come first in everyone's mind. Be it you want some graphics designing thing, or maybe you are looking for some 3D designing, or maybe you are looking for some website, mobile app designing. Adobe is the solution which people are using around the world to create those kind of a content. Or maybe something related to packaging designing. Even for that also we have a solution which allow you to create a packaging design or a publication design like flyer, brochure, those kind of a thing. The second is the Adobe Document Cloud. Anything and everything related to documentation, productivity, those are the things where Adobe Document Cloud help you. PDF is the format which is created by Adobe. Adobe is the founder of the Adobe PDF format. So anything related to documentation, that falls under Adobe Document Cloud. And the last business unit which we have is something called Adobe Experience Cloud. This is one of those business which not many people are aware about, but Adobe is very much into customer journey, customer analytics, and also, like you can say, sort of campaign designing and those kind of a solution which we provide. So the Adobe Experience Cloud, it's a completely, you can say, sort of a business which deals with anything related to grow your business and get more traffic on your website, on your mobile app, running your campaign, running your paid media kind of a thing, those kind of a thing. So that is our Adobe Experience business. Today I'm going to touch upon the first two pillars, which is Creative Cloud and Document Cloud. When we say the word Adobe Creative Cloud is actually a collection of 20 plus industry leading applications. These applications are like Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro for video editing. Those kind of solutions are there which allow you to cater all your need related to designing. This also includes some of our 3D solution also, which allow you to create 3D models, 3D content, like maybe if you want to design some fashion apparel, textile, or maybe something related to footwear designing. Many of the big brands in India and also globally are already using Adobe solution to create their 3D prototyping and 2D prototyping with the help of the Adobe solution. Adobe Creative Cloud also include a marketplace which is called Adobe Stock. So let's say you do not have a designer who can design a 3D model. You can go on our Adobe Stock and download a 3D model, and you can use that 3D model for your commercial project. Let's say you want to download some footwear, you can download that, make changes into it, and you can use it for your commercial purpose. So those kind of content we provide on our Adobe Stock. Or maybe let's say you are creating some kind of a packaging design and you are looking for some pattern design. So you can go on our Adobe Stock website. We provide millions and millions of patterns which you can download and you can use it for your commercial purpose. Adobe Creative Cloud also consists of something called connected services, which allow collaboration. So let's say if you work in a hybrid mode, some of your designers are sitting in-house or some of your designers are sitting in the office, they can collaborate virtually with the help of, by sharing the file over the internet with the help of Creative Cloud ecosystem. And last but not the least, the talk of the town. I think in today's time, no seminar get untouched without saying this word, generative AI or AI in general, right? So Adobe is also very much into generative AI. It allows you to create visual images just by writing a prompt. And Adobe generative AI is different from all the other generative AI model which you might aware about, because we have trained this on our own data. We have not trained Adobe generative AI solution on any copyrighted content, which means whatever it will create, you are free to use that for your commercial purpose. And Adobe is the first company who came up with the idea of indemnification. Even if you generated something with the AI, because AI can generate anything, right? Even if you generate something with AI, Adobe will give you indemnification if something went wrong with that particular content. So the generative AI as a service is now available within our creative solution. So if in your team, if you have a designer who are using Photoshop, Illustrator, or any of those kind of a software, they can use the power of generative AI to quickly create the content. If they are taking 10 hours or 8 hours to create a content, maybe they will be able to complete in 1 hour or 1.5 hours. So this is our complete solution in the creative ecosystem. And happy to deep dive more with any one of you if you want to understand more. But now, let me talk about documents. Business run on the document. And when we say the word document, there are many formats: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and PDF. Let me ask you, when you complete your work, let's say you are writing something on Word, let's say you are making some sheet on Excel. When you complete your job, you always save the file. I'm sure most of you save the file in a PDF format when you want to share that file with someone else, right? Why we save in PDF? Because we do not want someone to edit that content, right? It's a final content. When we want to archive our content in our storage, maybe on cloud storage or maybe in our hard disks, do we archive in a Word, Excel, PowerPoint file? Maybe not. Maybe we convert it into PDF and then archive it so that it should not be editable by anyone. So it's, and also since morning till now, I'm sure many of you must have opened one or two PDF attachment in your email inbox to see some kind of information, right? So it's right to say that most very common format in a business is a PDF format. If there is a challenge with a PDF format in your organization, it's a challenge with a document. And if it is a challenge with a document, it's a challenge with a business. So you need to make sure how your documents are flowing, how they are secure, how they are not get tampered or compromised by anyone. 400 plus billions PDF files are opened within the Adobe products like Adobe Reader, which many of you might be using, Adobe Acrobat, which many of you might be using. So we got this data that around 400 billion, in fact, now this value has grown up. This data is from 2022, but this is the volume of PDF file which people open around the world. 40% of all documents received in Outlooks are in PDF as an attachment. So Microsoft, we got this information from Microsoft that the attachment which comes in an email, out of in the 40% attachments are in a PDF format. And I'm not talking about here your bank statement or credit card statement. Those are your personal thing. I'm talking about the business documents which you are receiving. Those are in a PDF format. The most critical business data such as financial report, annual reports are published in a PDF format on the website or in the public forum, or even internally also when you are flowing these documents, these are in a PDF format. There are trillions of PDF file right now flowing in the entire internet world, be it in your email, cloud, or on the website. And it's the #1 document format across the world. So everyone who is dealing with a document is aware about this particular format. So what we can do with this format? Because it's a very common format, what else we can do besides reading just the document, what else we can do? And that's where we came up with this solution, where we actually have divided our solution in 4 pillars. The first one is the reinventing document experience with a generative AI. The idea here is when you are opening a document and reading a document, you are spending some time in reading that document. How can we reduce that time by taking the help of generative AI? Anywhere productivity. We have a Acrobat software on your desktop. We also have a Acrobat software for your mobile phone. And we also have a Acrobat solution on the website. So wherever you are going, you will be able to open your PDF file either on the go, on your desktop, or maybe on your phone, or maybe on, let's say, on any browser. So anywhere productivity means anytime you can access the PDF file. Data protection and compliance, a very important point. Just because you create a .pdf file, it doesn't mean that that file is secured until unless you didn't put an encryption or a password protection on top of that. I'll talk about more on that. And the last but not the least, document automation. We, Adobe, provide a lot of API solution which will help you to automate many document-related tasks. What are those tasks? I'll cover up on that. Let's first discuss accelerate document productivity, Gen AI. A business person, a person who has to deal with lot of document in day to day, a person who have to read lot of document and consume the information from the document, that person spend average 8 hours per week in just consuming the information from that document and writing, and basis on that consumption, that person is maybe writing an article, maybe doing some analysis, those kind of a thing. How can we reduce this time? Is your job is only to go to office and just keep on reading 100-page document, 50-page document, 30-page document, and maybe out of that 30 page, only 2 pages actually of your relevance, and the rest of the page may be not of your relevance. So how can we reduce your time and quickly find it out the information which you are looking for? And that is where we came up with the idea of a AI assistant in Adobe Acrobat Pro. AI assistant allow you to ask questions from your document, and this AI assistant will only give you the answer from the document. If the answer is not available within the document, it will say that the response which you are looking for is not available within the document. Let me show you an example here. This is a legal document. You can say a policy document actually. It's a around 6-page document, and I want, I want to get a summary of this document. I'm not a legal guy. I will take a lot of time to go through this entire document and read each and every line. So what I will do, I will quickly generate a summary of this 6-page document. It can be 6-page or a 100-page document. As you can see, the summary has been generated. And now I can actually see in a very well formatted, in a bullet pointer, the entire summary of the document. The thing which I was going to take 1 hour or 2 hours, I can do that within 10 minutes. I can copy the information and paste it maybe in my email, or if I'm writing any report, I can paste it there. I can also ask question. I want to know what are the key points of this document. Now it will actually make a pointed report from the document, and it will give me citation, attribution, that from which page that information is coming. That blue number 1, 2, 3 will actually give you the source of truth, that the information is not actually making by the AI, it actually copied from the document. This is the another example of interim budget 2023-24. I can ask question here. How many street vendors receive credit assistance from PM's Swanidhi Yojana? 78 lakh people receive. Here's the information on page number 9. It will take a lot of time to find it out, this information, but just by writing a question, I can ask things. Draft an email to the head of the department summarizing this document. Dear department head, hope you find this email useful. The entire summary of the document is written there, and regards your name, and you can copy this information and paste it. Within few minutes, you will get the entire information from this 32-page document. Be it a legal report, be it a research report, be it financial report, you can find it out the information very quickly. Now, I showed you this example on 2 documents, but you can think of any document which you have to read, and you will able to find it out information very quickly, and you can save a lot of your time. This is, as I said, Adobe Acrobat is not only a solution which allow you to read a PDF file, it also allow you to create a PDF file, edit a PDF file, and also you can do the OCR on the PDF file. So a lot of other functionalities are also available within the PDF file. Modern collaboration, you can invite other people also on your PDF file to comment, annotate on the same file. So you can simply share the link of the PDF file, or just write their email ID within Acrobat Pro, and they will receive an invitation link to join you on the same file. Integration into existing tool and workflow. Microsoft is our strategic partner. Once you install the Adobe Acrobat Pro, you will able to use Adobe Acrobat within your Microsoft Teams, within MS Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and also SharePoint and OneDrive. So let's say you have a Word file or an Excel file on OneDrive, and somebody say, please send me your file, and you are planning to send him in a PDF format. How you will do? You will download the file from Outlook, from OneDrive or SharePoint, and then convert it in PDF, then you share. But if you install Acrobat in your machine, you will automatically see the Acrobat option within OneDrive and SharePoint. Without downloading the file, you can convert the file into PDF just by using the feature within the OneDrive or SharePoint. So that is the tight integration which we have done with the help of Microsoft. protection is a very important thing. Just as I said earlier, just because you create a PDF file, it doesn't mean it's a secure PDF. We allow you feature to put a password protection. We allow you feature to put a encryption on your document so that no one will able to edit your PDF file. Now, I am not talking about here protection which you see when you receive your bank statement, right? It's asked you to put a password and then only your bank statement or credit card statement gets open. That's very annoying if you are sending the file within the organization. You cannot expect that every employee within the organization will put a password to view the document, right? So we allow you features where you can give the reading right to anyone, but you can restrict the right to edit the document, to print the document, or to modify the document. So anyone can double click and open the file and can go through the content, but that person cannot copy the information. That person cannot modify the document. Those kind of restrictions you can apply on the document. Sandboxing. Sandboxing is a feature which allow you to open a PDF file in a restricted environment so that if the file is malicious, it will not able to harm your computer or your entire network. Let me give you an example of sandboxing. Nowadays, if you open a Word file, let's say you download some Word or Excel file, you open that file, you're not able to edit the file immediately. On the top, there is a button called edit. You need to click on it's that environment is called sandboxing environment, because if the file is malicious, that malicious code or the virus will only be contained within that sandboxing environment. Once you are satisfied that this is a legit document, then you click that button and the rest of the functionality get enabled, right? So because PDF becomes a very common format, many cyber attack hackers are using PDF format as a source to send the malicious code. Many times I'm sure you receive those malicious email which have a PDF attachment, right? The moment you download, I know nowadays people are quite vigilant, they know that not to open all these attachments. But if you open those attachments, they will actually execute some kind of a code in your system and the entire network will get compromised. So we provide a feature, something called sandboxing, which restrict the PDF file to directly connect with your entire operating system or the entire network. So if the file is malicious, it will not spread across the entire network. Redaction including metadata. Let's say I want to send out a document to someone, but I want to hide certain information, certain sensitive information within that document. We provide a feature called redaction. With the help of this, you can redact certain information within the document, and there will be no mean to retrieve that information which you have redacted from the document. Even if you convert that PDF file in any other format, that information will completely delete it. So something like PII kind of information, or maybe some other confidential numbers or figures which you want to hide, you can do that with the help of redaction feature. This is a real example of a financial report, annual report, which was published on the website of one company. Somebody downloaded that report. It was not protected, changed the revenue from 75 million to 15 million, and sent this document to the financial journalist. This is the real case which has happened few years back in US, where when the financial journalist received that document, he thought that the revenue is 15 million. You can assume what happened to the share of that company next morning. So it's super important the PDF files which you are posting on your website should be protected for any compromisation. Now here this file is protected. Now if I try to edit, it will not get edited. Because if you edit it, if I change that 75 million to 15 million, I can change anyone's revenue on the table. And I can share that information with newspaper or any journalist. The font and everything will be matched. So it's important, just because we make a .pdf, it doesn't mean it's a safe file. Coming on to the automation solution, which we provide, API related solutions. So something like a business run in a large volume, right? Business didn't run in one or two kind of a volume. So we have a solution, something called document, data-driven and customized document generation. For example, you want to generate contracts, NDAs, offer letters, invoices, These are those documents which I'm taking name, you will get the sense, these are those documents where the layout remains same and only few information get changed, right? Now, document generation allow you to create your template and connect the API with your database. And the moment you run this particular API, it will pull the information from your database, put it in the template, and flush it out the PDF file or whatever format you are looking for. In one go, millions and billions of contract, offer letter, whatever you want to generate, where the most of the language remains same and only few information keep on getting changed. So that information can be pulled from your customer database and it can be placed in the document. PDF extract API, this is a very popular API which many of our customers using. This API allow you to extract the information from a PDF file and push that information to any of your internal system like Power BI or any analytics system. Let me give you an example. Let's say you receive an invoice in a PDF format, okay? And you have already defined the layout. Now the moment that invoice will come, extract API will pull all the figure from that invoice and push it to your SAP or some kind of a procurement system or financing system you are using. So no one has to put all the figure manually in the system. This is the feature which many companies are also using to create their own AI model. How you will create your own AI model? You will only able to create your own AI model when you have a data. How you will get the data? You will get the data which is already there in your documents. You just need to pull out. Okay, because AI will not understand what is PDF, what is Word, what is Excel. It's need a data in some technical format like JSON or a JavaScript or something like that, or CSV for that matter. So extract API will pull all your information from the PDF file and you can share that information within any of your internal system like ERP or maybe HRMS or whatever solution you are using. Accessibility API, nowadays Government of India is also promoting a lot that your documents need to be accessibility enabled so that it can be read by a machine. So if a visually challenged person or a disabled person is going through your document, he should be able to read that document. And last but not the least, if you want to sign invoices in bulk digitally, how can you do that? For that, we have an e-signing solution which allow you to sign invoices or any document which you want to sign in bulk with our signing solution. So we have a digital signing, electronic signing solution which allow you to sign individual documents also and document in bulk also. Some of the use cases, supplier contract documents you can automatically generate with the help of our API. Once it will get generated, you can automatically send out for the signing purpose. So it will, the moment it will get generated, it will automatically send out over the email for electronic signing purpose. Electronic sign is very much applicable in India according to IT Act 2000. Electronic signing or digital signing is valid in India. So many of our customers are generating automatic contract, and because the email ID is mentioned there, the automation system automatically sent out that document to the receiving party for his signature. No human intervention required. Bulk signing of invoices, I already gave you the idea how we support bulk signing of not only invoices or any document which you want to sign in bulk. Send for signing via SMS. Many blue collar workers didn't have email IDs, right? They do not access emails. They don't have email, but still you want to do a contract with them. So what you can do, you can send out a document through a SMS link, and the moment they click that link, the entire document will get open on their phone and they can digitally sign that document. Very popular solution, many of our customers using because even though they are blue collar worker, but you have to do a contract with them, right? And digital is the best way to do. Even the government is also promoting to perform a digital contract signing, and also send for signing via SMS is the solution where you do not need an email ID of the other person. You just need a phone number of that person. I will not take name here, but one of the leading private banks in India are already using this solution. So maybe if you are signing the document, the link which you receive on your phone, maybe the solution which is running behind is the Adobe technology. FAQ document translation, this is a very specific kind of a use case which we got to hear from customers like you. They have a lot of manuals which need to be converted in vernacular languages. So how can we do that? So to convert any document in vernacular languages, in different languages, the machine should able to read the document, machine should able to understand the document, and that is where our extract API comes into picture. Extract API will pull out all the information from your manual document, FAQ document, or SOP document, and once the information is pulled, you can convert it in any language by using any language translation application. So this is also one of the use case which we heard from some of our manufacturing customers. We feel that any department who deal with the document, Adobe has a role to play there. We can help you out to digitize your solution, be it HR, sales, procurement. I believe there is no department in a company who say that we do not deal with any document, right? Because business runs on document only. So we can help you out. I'm here for a while. If you want to talk more, or if you want to share some of your workflow or use cases and you want how Adobe can help you that, happy to indulge in that discussion. These are some of the company around the world who are already partnered. This is just one slide. Otherwise, most of the companies are there in India and globally are already using Adobe solution. With that, thank you everyone. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, sir. I would like to request you to please be on stage. As ladies and gentlemen, we are moving further for the token of appreciation. I would like to invite on stage with a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for General Manager, Economic Times, Joydeep Ghosh, sir. Can I have you on stage? Can we have a big round of applause? And would like to request you to please give the token of appreciation to Mohammed Yamin. Sir, thank you so much for coming here and giving a great presentation. Can we have a big round of applause for him? Thank you. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of Lucknow edition of ET Make in India SME Regional Summit 2024, Adobe as associate partner. Thank you once again all our esteemed speakers, our partners and our participants who represent the Uttar Pradesh MSME ecosystem. We hope that many MSME present here today found this to be a valuable knowledge sharing and enabling experience, and we wish you a very best as you chart the next wave of your growth. Do follow economictimes.com for more such MSME focused initiative and including the next edition of SME Regional Summit Kolkata on June 8th, as well as the ET MSME Day Conclave and the ET MSME Award. We now invite everyone for lunch and use this opportunity to build connection and network. Thank you all. This is your anchor Swati Chandra signing off for today. Thank you all. And let's have a big round of applause for all our audience today. Thank you all. Thank you for joining us.